Hey, welcome to the Kinda Sleepy podcast. I'm your host, Knowledge, and who do I have to my left?
Miss EP. You
the voice of reason this week, or you?
It's going to depend. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
To my right, my brother, the best tattoo artist in Charlotte. I know y'all missed him.
I'm trying to tell you, man, I've been slinging crack. I've been slinging tats like crack from state to state. I'm telling you. Been out here getting to it. Do it, but it's your boy, Chinabo Reed, a.k.a. Natty Bad Tattoo Dreadlock, owner, operator of Slaughterhouse Tattoos. Mr. a.k.a. helping you look better naked in the building.
Hey. I miss that, man. I miss you, dog.
Yeah, I know, man.
What's going on, man?
Been trying to be great out here, man.
I miss you, bro.
California to Florida to Texas, you know what I mean?
Saying, all over the place. And I ain't been invited no damn well.
See, just been you trying to spread a little black
see how
boy
color
joy.
folk do you.
And look, they get a little plane ticket that leave everybody else at home.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll be back. I'm going to the store real quick. Nigga go live, nigga all the way in Texas. What store you going to?
H-Time, what it do? Hey.
What store did you go to? Yeah, man, just been traveling, man, with this tattoo thing, man.
That's
Trying to get the brand,
Hey, you deserve it, man. You deserve it. You've been grinding for a while,
for a minute, man. Going on 9 years.
Well, I need some new ink, man.
Well, let's get to it, dude.
I need some new ink. And if you know somebody need a Harley motor, we're gonna talk about that. We'll talk about that later.
Put Miss EP on the ink list too. Can I get on the ink list?
It's a family affair.
Hey. So I'm gonna get Miss EP tatted on my chest.
I know that's right. With like a little record, like a little record.
Exactly.
A little vinyl.
And it's gonna say Miss EP.
Bang.
Oh, okay.
Bang. They hit him with that voodoo, huh?
So who I got sitting across from me? Sitting across from me is a wonderful guest of ours. Tell us who you are.
Vanessa.
So you just gonna use your government name all up and just
V Nessa, Miss V, whatever you want to call me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you from? How you been? How you doing? Who your mama know? Where you from? All that stuff. We need to know. You new to us here.
He has some pretty hair.
Thank you.
You just want to lay in your
Skin looks supple.
That's that
You didn't tell her the rule though.
What's
You can tell everything except anything that the police doesn't need to know, right?
Well, absolutely. The police.
No social security number, date of birth.
Yeah, please don't tell us nothing, and the police don't need to know.
Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Oh, same place as has Sean.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Nice Sean. Nice Sean is from up there. So shout out to Connecticut. We got another Connecticut connection in the building. Shout out to Abyss. Yes. Family part of the show family. Love Abyss up there from Connecticut. Tell us more. Come on, talk to us.
Been in North Carolina since the 90s.
Oh, you was here doing the drought.
Yeah. Been in Charlotte since 2009.
Okay.
So I'm just out here.
So where else have you lived in NC? Unless you got people looking for you like child support or Sallie Mae.
No, we ain't got no problems. No, we ain't got those kind of problems. I'll make sure. No, Fayetteville, Greensboro, Lexington, and
so all the trap cities. Okay, I'm with you.
We heavy out there.
See all the trap cities.
Been trapping all over the state. All right. Well, let's jump into this. Speaking of the trap. Pusha Ton, a.k.a. Pusha T, a.k.a. Drake's new daddy. He went on record. I just saw this after we recorded last week by saying that MAGA hats, those Make America Great Again hats, are this generation's Ku Klux Klan hoods. With that being said, I personally, myself, would like to tell Mr. Ton, Pusha T, to sit the fuck down, considering the fact that his boss, Mr. Kanyezel Westizzle, wears those hats and thinks it's okay to do such because slavery was a choice, and so is purchasing your album, which I'll admit to the police, I bootlegged it. Yes, I downloaded it illegally, and if you search my browser history, I guarantee you won't find the link. Ha! Check me out. Anyway. But yeah, so I really want to know what y'all think about this, about him saying that MAGA hats are this generation's Ku Klux Klan hoods, because we've seen a couple of issues with these hats being used as symbols of a certain mindset, a certain thought process, a certain belief system. So what do you guys think?
In my eyes, it's just a subtle fuck you, pretty much. You know what I mean?
Right. I know we had an issue last year, I think it was last summer, when those girls decided to go to Howard University wearing Make America Great Again hats.
Right.
Like it was a good idea to do that at the Mecca. And I was like, okay, well, you have your right to free speech in wearing that hat, and I have the right to tell you you're a complete and total dipshit. So
Right, pretty much, you know, and like I say, you know, it's just a subtle proverbial fuck you, pretty much. And like I tell a lot of people, a lot of times, you know, people will put what they feel about you right in your face, and that's what it is. And you know, and with Kanye West trying to get us to rationalize it as well as, okay, well, we have the opportunity to do this and do this and do that. Nah, fuck all that. Because at the end of the day, I mean, shit, we already know what the hat stand for.
Exactly.
Pretty much, you know what I mean? We know the meaning behind them. We know who brought them to the forefront. So why would we?
right,
Why
right.
would we?
I'm not gonna. You right. What you got to say, Miss Ness?
I agree with the sentiment that it is basically a fuck you to your face. I just think they are so empowered at
Right.
this point in time.
Right.
You know,
They
I
bold.
mean, 100%. However, they don't really realize, as they say, we are not our ancestors. We will whoop your ass.
And here's the thing: our ancestors was whooping ass, but we don't get taught that.
Right.
Before we started the show, we was talking about the parts of history that we don't get taught.
Right.
People don't get taught about the Deacons of Defense.
Right.
People don't get taught the real story about the Black Panther Party for self-defense. They don't get taught that. And so the thing is, in my opinion, and this is just my belief, I am my ancestors and everything they
100%.
wanted me to be and
Yes.
more.
Yes.
Because the thing is, not only will I whoop your ass, I will outthink you too. And I love that. Like, I love that. Now, Miss EP, now coming from where we from, you know, we from the deep, dirty, ugly, dirty South. Let me ask you a question. And this is specifically a question for you being from the state that you're from and me being a state from the state next to it. My question is, when you see a Make America Great Again hat, what does that make you specifically think of with relation to how you came up and where you're from?
I agree that it's definitely a reminder of it's similar to a Klan hood. It gives me the same feeling. There's no difference whatsoever. I think just now the environment is there's a comfort level to where you do not have to be hidden. It's just a different type of hood. It doesn't cover your face.
Now, here's what's crazy about that is because, you know, people keep saying that we're going backwards in time, and that's very true. I read a book back when I was an undergrad called Politics, Society, and the Klan in Alabama. And so I'm very well versed on the Klan and their strongholds and their operations in my home state of Alabama. And it's amazing that I watch these court cases with these black men go down at the federal courthouse that is named for Justice Hugo L. Black, who was from Alabama, who was also a Klansman. So when I walk in that courthouse as a black man, I already know what that means.
Right.
I don't know if it was Harry Truman or Woodrow Wilson, but one of them admitted to being a Klansman and said, well, it was just a social club for men. It was just something we did at the time. Yeah, but you was beating up Catholics, drunks, niggers, and Jews. That's social to you? That's some social interaction for your ass right there.
Literally.
Yeah. So, you know, it's just it just rings for me. For Pusha T to say it says so much, but it rings very hollow when your boss. And he said, you know, I don't always agree with what Ye say. I'm like, yeah, but bro, like, you know, you still. I'm gonna tell you like this: I ain't kicking it with nobody wearing a MAGA hat. I don't care how insulated they are from the outside world. I know people who make plenty money. They don't make Kanye West money, but they're not even stupid enough to be insulated from the fact that they're still black.
Well, I'm convinced that Kanye has become the character from the Dave Chappelle show.
Clayton Bigsby.
The black dude
voice.
when he was blind.
Here's my thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna go that far. Here's why I say that. Somebody reached out to me on Facebook not too long ago and said, you know, you should rewatch the interview that, you know, they talked about Kanye on the Breakfast Club, where Pusha talked about Kanye and, you know, how they talked about his mindset and all that. And I was like, okay, so I went and rewatched it, and I still didn't feel any different considering the fact that Kanye was raised by an activist. Donda West was the truth.
Yes.
If you don't know Donda West's history, you need to look up Donda West and his dad. But the thing is, Kanye has no excuse. I mean, think about it. he said it, in his first songs. With that in my blood, I was born to be different. Come on, dog. Like, better. You don't have the right at this point to insulate yourself from being black in America because now you have this money and you live in Wyoming and you're dating an Armenian woman. Well, you're married to an Armenian woman who has made her come up, her and her sisters, off of the things that we call black women ghetto for.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, just to throw this out there, I mean, not to go down a rabbit hole, but rules don't apply to him any longer that applied to him once when he was just a regular black guy.
But the thing is, you choose at some point to decide who you want to be.
True, I agree.
When you make a certain amount of money, you choose to be who you want to be. The reason I have so much respect for Dame Dash is because Dame Dash never stopped being who he wanted to be and never stopped being that guy. He never stopped giving people opportunities. He never stopped, trying to build and cultivate a culture. That's why I got so much love for Dame Dash. That's the same reason I don't have. Now I got love for what they've accomplished, but I don't have nearly as much love for a Tyler Perry. I'm not gonna never shit on Tyler Perry's accomplishments. I'm not gonna never say that Tyler Perry does not have a voice that has impacted a lot of people. What I will say is that Tyler Perry has made a fortune off of taking the most salacious elements of our life and packaging them as authentic blackness and selling them to black women as their authentic pain. Mm. I think that it has been somewhat of an exploitation of black women's pain to a certain extent. Now, is he gifted in his own right? Absolutely. I love that about him. But I don't really like the idea that he got to that point, and now when you see somebody like a Corinne Steffens, or you see somebody like Sandra Bland, who her death, the anniversary of her being arrested and dying, which I still don't believe she killed herself, was 3 years ago. Right. It wasn't that long ago. We don't hear your voice on those things. You've made millions. You've become a billionaire off of our pain, but we don't hear your voice when we're hurting. So, but speaking of people that's hurting, let's move on along. I don't want to get too deep into that. Shady McCoy, LaShawn McCoy, apparently doing some shady things, man. His ex-girlfriend's homie posted some pictures of her in the hospital, basically beat all to hell. Like, I was, the pictures were disturbing to me.
Disgusting.
When I saw them. Now, I'm going to go on the record as saying that it's pretty much impossible for LaShawn McCoy to have done this with his own hands, feet, fists, whatever, because he was not in town. And that has been confirmed through multiple media sources that he was not in town when this happened. However, the circumstances surrounding the home invasion where this ass whooping happened were very fishy. They were getting ready to go to court because he's trying to evict her and her child from a house that he owns that they've lived in for a couple of years now. The person who did the home invasion only asked for jewelry that he bought her. And so this just sounds like I put like this: if LaShawn McCoy didn't do it and didn't set it up, he really sound bad right now for what's going on. I'm just saying. I'm looking at your face, man. I know you guys.
Who put this together?
Whose plan was this? Who mans is
I told
this?
you, Ray Caruth, all over. I told you. That's what
but
it
how
sounds
do you
like.
ask, like, yo, give me everything? No, not that. Just what he got.
Yeah.
Like, how, not that ring.
Specifically.
Yeah.
This.
Give me all the shit Shady got you.
Right.
How do you?
It's supposed to be 8 pieces.
Right.
You gave me 7. One more in here.
With the big diamond.
What the bangles at? What the Cartier bangles?
And the earring.
He must have came in with an itemized list.
Right.
This is not a funny
He came in with an itemized
situation.
list for the robbery.
From Tiffany's.
This is not a funny situation, but the execution of this,
it's terrible.
this shitty plan.
Yeah, that was
Come
messed
on.
up. Without saying too much, back in my yesteryears, I've gotten a phone call or two. EP, I need you to go check on this female for me,
We know Sam Fo. We know Sam Fo. Always one.
But, she tripping and I can't do nothing about it.
Yeah,
I can't touch her, but I need you to go handle something.
Yeah, I need to knock on the door or two.
Right.
Hey,
I've done it. Right. But it's the way you do stuff.
But that's what it sounds like, though, right?
That's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounds like. And it's,
We know the code.
Yeah.
We know the code. So
I can't put my hands on you, but I'm
Right.
gonna send my cousin to go see.
Right.
He put out a iOS press release, which really is like his notes app on his iPhone.
He had it written before it happened.
He thought about it. He put some thought into it.
Did it happen yet? Okay, let me hit send.
He had it pre.
Right. That was written.
It's
I
on
read it.
Instagram. It says, for the record, the
Instagram.
totally baseless and offensive claims made against me today on social media are completely false. Furthermore, 2 words, by the way, further and more, I have not had any direct contact with any of the people involved in months. Now, this is what let me know he was messed up. When he said any of the people involved.
Have any details been released yet?
Okay, so the way we found out about it was his girlfriend's homegirl.
Okay.
All right. His girlfriend was the one that got hit. So if you're saying any of the people involved in months, then you're talking about them too. But the thing is, why didn't you say I haven't been had any direct contact with the victim? Mm-hmm. Why didn't you just address that one young lady? Why do you say any of the people involved? Because the thing is, you don't have to address her girlfriends. Like, my thing is, if I have an issue with my lady's girlfriend, I'm going to address my lady. Even if we break up, I'm going to address my ex and say, hey, your homegirl's out of pocket. You need to get them. I'm not going to address your homegirls, point blank, period. That's not how I operate. I don't know the excuse me.
But
I'm sorry.
All right. Tell us how you feel.
I'm sorry. I got a little sideways.
Okay, bring it back. Step back from the light.
Caroline.
Right. But that's just my thing. Like, I don't know them, so why am I addressing them?
Were they there? Were they a part of... So they're not involved.
Exactly. So when you say any of the people involved, I'm thinking...
The people who did it.
right. My man's in them. I ain't talked to him directly.
But just
I
in
talked
case.
to him a few months ago when we set the plan up, but I haven't talked to him
But I
since
did
then.
send a text saying it's go time.
Yeah, it wasn't directly.
I was talking about going to practice, though.
Man, that's...
Right, I had sent him a text said I was going out of town this weekend, and I wouldn't be back till
next
weekend.
So if he was gonna stop
somewhere
by the
in
house.
between, without saying, that's what happened.
Again.
If you won't smoke.
Come on, Shady. Come on, Shady.
Well, I hope that the woman who was the victim of this, I hope she recovers 100%. It was
Her
it was disturbing.
It was
bro.
grotesque, man.
Yeah, that was disturbing.
That was extreme,
bro.
man.
Like I don't wish domestic violence
And
on
especially
anybody.
a man who has the balls
Yeah, something
to
wrong with
beat
you.
her. I'm sorry, like she was like,
yeah, you couldn't pay me enough money to do that to a woman. You know what I mean?
To any
You
woman.
couldn't. No, you couldn't. I'm like, look at you.
Well, hold on. Like, now, if you paid me enough money, I'll step in the ring with Layla Ali.
No.
But that's different.
That's
No.
different.
Right?
No.
Like, come on.
Yeah,
No.
we're talking about your average woman.
Yeah,
no
no.
matter how strong she is,
No.
Right.
no matter how tough she is or whatever. I mean, it's still a woman at the end of the day.
100%.
I don't know, man. Boss Lady is family. It's part of the show family. Boss Lady swing on me, I'm going to have to defend myself and run. I'm just saying. Boss Lady kind of...
So you coming for Boss Lady on the show and she ain't here?
She'll be here next week.
Just let the record show.
So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and put this as a bullet point.
Right. That I was making sure you understood what you was doing.
But I'm just...
in this moment.
You've seen Boss Lady play football. She got a mean stiff arm and a swim move.
I just feel like you,
9:48,
yeah, right. See,
July the 15th.
no,
I'm just saying. If
nobody else was a part of this but
If
you.
Boss
but
Lady
you-
swing on me, I'm going to have to duck,
She
cover,
might
and run.
swing after this because you didn't need to use her for an example.
But the average
Threw her
woman.
in the boat.
No, but...
Right, the average woman,
Can we get
especially
back
look
to
at
the
her.
show, please?
Like if you look at her in her regular pictures,
She's
not
very
that
delicate,
right.
pretty. She's a doctor, if I'm not mistaken, a medical doctor. She's just she's a woman of who uses her intelligence and just
100%.
happens to have looks. And that's not to say that if you don't have looks, like you should get your
can't be
ass
ready
whooped.
for
You know
it.
what I'm saying?
I'm just saying, though, because I got a cousin named Barbara Ann, and she ain't the prettiest. But we call her B.A. not because her name Barbara Ann. We call her B.A. because she beats ass. So, it all depends. I mean...
We missed you, Natty.
We really missed you.
Hey, Barbara Ann, if you listen to this, I'm just fucking around, I'm just bullshitting. I don't want them smoke deals.
No smoke.
I don't
No
want them
smoke.
smoke deals.
Both of y'all. Okay.
Niggas so phony.
I don't want them smoke deals.
So next up, man, is actually one of my favorite media personalities is going through some things right now. There's been a petition put out there for Charlamagne to be fired from the Breakfast Club over some rape allegations that have resurfaced from 2001. So this young lady in 2001 was 15 years old.
What the?
She was 15 years old, and she brought claims against Charlamagne because she said she went to a party and she was drinking and she got raped at the party.
15, huh?
And
Okay. Fuck was your mama?
and so he
Okay,
got
anyway.
so she got raped,
I'm just-
and so he got charged with it. He claims it's because that he was the one who was throwing the party. Is that why he got charged?
Okay.
And so he pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of contributing to the delinquency of a minor,
Okay.
and he got 3 years probation. Now, in an interview with DJ Academics, he said that he didn't do this, you know what I'm saying, and that he gave them DNA, he gave them blood, and said, "Hey, I didn't do it."
Well, how was he ever charged in the first place with actual rape? Just because he hosted the
Well-
the charge doesn't make sense.
She made the claim. Okay, let me give you the straight dope. I don't want to tell nothing wrong. And so, according to Billboard, according to a 2001 police report from the Berkeley County Sheriff's Office, the young lady and a friend claimed to have been picked up and brought to a short-stay naval housing facility and given a liquid to drink that tasted like soda. That was the last thing that the young lady's friend said she remembered before waking up with a man trying to kiss her. She claims to have forced the man away and went to find her friend, who was in the room across from where she was, naked and crying, stated that she had been raped. The girls were brought to a local hospital where staff corroborated that a sexual assault had occurred and took a statement that implicated Charlamagne, whose real name is Leonard McElvey, as the assailant. So a month later, Charlamagne, who was 22, was arrested for criminal sexual conduct with a minor in second degree. Specifically, and these are the elements of the charge: willfully, unlawfully, and feloniously engaging in penile vaginal intercourse with a 15-year-old female child. Like I said, he said he gave them DNA. He gave them, whatever biological samples he needed to give them, and all they could charge him with was contributing to the delinquency of a minor. He says it's because he hosted the party and he did not actually rape the young lady, and that he was not even there when the sexual assault occurred. Now, based on his statements that he's made, not only in the DJ Academics interview, but also kind of a little bit of what I gleaned from, because I did read his book, Black Privilege, it does seem like he possibly knows who did it, but he's not going to tell on them.
I think so.
And which is completely, I guess, to a certain extent understandable, because from what it sounds like, from what I'm going to assume, is that it's his cousin or one of his cousins that may have done it.
That's why I don't fuck with my cousin.
So when I say it's understandable, don't get it twisted as me saying that I think that, he should be letting people get away with sexual assault or rape or anything like that. But I do, knowing where he comes from, knowing how people are in the country specifically, like, you're just raised to not tell them folks anything about your family. Because one thing I know about the country and about country-ass police is that, and yes, I did say police, once they get a little bit on your family, they don't try to get the rest of the stuff that they can on your family. And so that's the environment he's coming from. Now, do I believe that whoever raped and sexually assaulted this lady needs to absolutely do their time and take their charge? Yeah.
Right, you got to wear that.
I firmly believe that. But
If that's the case.
yeah. But I also, and I'm going to say this on the record, if this guy did this, if Charlamagne did this, I don't care how much I care for him as a radio personality, as a media personality, he gonna get that same work that Bill Cosby got.
I mean, I think at the
His
end of-
birthmark faced ass got to go if he did this bullshit. But no, that's just the real. I don't want people to think I'm playing favorites,
right.
because I like somebody. No, if you are a chomo, a child molester, if you are a rapist, your ass got to go.
Okay, well, let me ask this. You know, what's the difference in no, you didn't do it, but you knew it was happening in the room next to you, and you didn't do anything about it. You know, different, man.
Well, that's the difference between an accessory charge and a felony.
I mean, that's cardinal knowledge. You know
right.
what I mean?
There's no different, and I think I'll take my voice of reason moment today. For 2 seconds, okay? So we always tell young females, you know, you need to watch yourself. You need to make good decisions. You know, don't put yourself in situations 100%. Where you can end up getting more than what you wanted. You know, you wanted to go party and have fun and be cool, and next thing you know, you wake up trying to figure out what happened to you. Right. So yeah, you do have to watch yourself. You know, all my young females, you got to do that. But then, you know, for the young males, in his case, in Charlamagne's case, everybody got some juniors. In the group, you know, young Reverend Junior from Players Club. Dudes wild out. You may not be the dude that wilds out, but whether it's your best friend, whether it's your cousin or your homeboy or whoever, you know he's a little ticky boom boom. He has no filter, no limitations whatsoever. And so you got these young girls in there, and you think, you know, a lot of people look at young girls who put themselves in those situations as if they don't matter, they don't care, there's no standards, there's no need to respect them, right? Because they put themselves here. So you got the guys like Junior who's going to take advantage of it and feel like he has a right to do so because she's here.
100%.
Right? So at the same time,
young
men got to check your mans that's around you. Like, whose mans is this?
I agree 100%. I mean, at 22 years old, you know, even you kind of knew me at 22.
Yeah.
You kind of knew who I was at 22, but I don't think that you ever got the impression from me at 22 that I would ever let anything like that happen around me. No. And so the thing is about me. I'm
pretty sure you were in some situations where there was,
I was in some situations, like anybody that knows me from back then knew I had some house parties, some house sets where some wild shit went on.
I was about to say, we see I looked at y'all like, you done took somebody. I was about to walk the fuck up out of here like, you done took somebody.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't mean to mean
Nah, it's cool. It's cool. But no, I at 22 years old, I had been in some wild stuff around that time. And my thing is, even in the midst of that, you know, if anybody had come to me and felt like they had been victimized or treated poorly, I'm going to own that, feel responsible for that, and make sure I handle that.
Because it was in your space. That's what happened in your event.
I've always felt like if I invite you to something, then I'm responsible for your safety.
Right.
Now, have I left my place during a party at that age? Absolutely. Did I come back and some shit was fucked up? No. Because the people that I had around me respected me
enough to not do that.
Right. Now, I did have a situation one time where I left the house and somebody called me when I got like 10 minutes down the street, said, "Hey, you at home?" I said, "No." They was like, "Hey, your apartment on fire."
What?
I said, "Oh shit." I went back. My roommate or somebody had apparently decided to cook some French fries and forgot them shits was on the stove and burnt up my whole damn kitchen over there in the Commons. I was mad as hell. But I made them all. Well, I didn't make them. I asked them because these were 3 grown men and they understood I wasn't there and they appreciated my role in the whole thing. These young men had enough respect for me to sign a waiver saying that, hey, you're not financially responsible. This is not something you did and you weren't even here. Okay. So my peoples looked out for me. But that's what I'm saying. You gotta now I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I've always had the best friends. You know, I got friends, you know, who were responsible for me having loyalty and honesty tattooed on my wrist right now. You know, people who I really consider friends and family. But my thing is you gotta keep people around you who are not gonna put you in no situation to be like this.
Right.
And you know, and like Miss EP said, you know, it comes to a point where, you know, we can preach to our daughters, you know, we can preach to our nieces, you know, and let them know, okay, look, you have to be aware of this, be aware of this, and be aware of that. But as a man, you know, we have to check our counterparts, man. 100%. We have to do that. I mean, because, you know, I had a situation like a couple weeks ago. You know, one of my homeboys, you know, he got loud with a female. And, you know, and I was on point with it because I'm like, okay, he looked like he about to smack a motherfucker. And he was. But luckily, you know what I mean, I'm paying attention to the situation. So whenever he, you know what I mean, decided to cock his hand back, I was right there. I'm like, look. Number one, I'm not going to let you play yourself like that.
Right.
No.
That's number one.
Number two, you're not going to play me like that. Because at the end of the day, if I allow some sucker shit to happen,
100%.
I'm a sucker.
You a sucker too,
Yes.
right?
I'm a sucker
Yes.
too, and that's not finna happen. So I restrained him to a level to where he was able to calm down. The young lady was able to leave. You know what I mean, without any altercation. Then,
Right.
And
so and that's what we have to do, because if we don't check our own, if we don't put our
Gotta check
homeboys
the
in
people.
position, I mean, look, everything that we tell our daughters and our nieces, you know what I mean.
It don't mean shit
It
if
ain't
we
gonna-
don't teach it at home to our own people.
Yes.
Right, man. You gotta check. You gotta check.
If I try to protect my daughter by telling her XYZ, but I don't check her uncle so and so for
Right.
being the person that she need to look out for, then
Right.
I'm weak.
yeah,
Right.
come on,
You
man.
know. So speaking of altercations, I'm looking at you over here for a reason, because you know where we're going next. There was a 91-year-old man in California who was walking down the street, minding his own damn business, and he accidentally bumped into a child. Accidentally, and it's real
91
easy
years old.
accident.
91, he's
Come
shaking.
on,
Come on.
Right.
He accidentally
He ain't got
bumped
no
into a
business
4-year-old.
outside by himself anyway.
And so this woman hits him with a brick and
Come
tells
on,
him to
man.
go back to his country, and she's a black woman.
Wow.
And the fact that she was a black woman
Now, that
saying
threw
that
me off.
pissed me off so bad. So bad. You have no idea. I'm looking at Nessa over
You
here.
already know I got
Listen,
plenty.
Come
Foot
on,
tapping.
come
It's
on.
about to go.
So listen,
Columbia
down.
Queen. Now with
listen.
this. I'm sorry.
He was selling paletas. Paletas are basically
Say that again.
Hispanic
Say that again.
ice cream paletas.
So foolish.
Well,
He's out here trying to earn a honest living.
Just a couple dollars.
That's
here and
it.
there. That's it.
And I-
91
and-
years old, man. He just want to live his life.
Bruh,
and earn a couple
91?
dollars.
Right.
Like, that's like your grandfather or your
Great
grandmother
Right. Great.
out here
Great
trying
grands.
to hustle
Right.
just to make an honest living.
Oh, man.
Man, when I
Alright.
saw that, it broke my heart. I ain't gonna lie to you.
And from my understanding from the story, he didn't want to sell it. And I don't think she was the only one out there. From my understanding of the
The
story,
fact that there are photos and video lets me know that she wasn't the
Right.
only one
she
out
wasn't.
there.
It couldn't happen.
But like I said last week, ain't no way on this damn planet that you gonna hit an elderly person anywhere near me and not expect to catch a whole entire foot in your ass.
Bruh.
Who raised these
Not only
motherfuckers?
that, but a person of color.
Right.
That's where it bothers me the
Yeah, that's
most.
That's disturbing.
Right.
Not only as a Hispanic woman, but just a woman of color.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you already know what we going through.
Right.
Not only black people, but Spanish people. We are all being persecuted in the same manner, right? In some way, shape, or form, we are all being persecuted.
Facts.
So why? Because maybe he didn't want to serve you in a way. Like, all right,
Well, no,
then
he
go
bumped
to
into
the corner
he
store.
bumped into the young girl,
Bruh.
and the young girl was her daughter, and so she reacted like that.
Come on, man.
Okay.
Bruh,
Now,
you could
I
have
have
caught
a- now-
these
now check
hands,
this
like,
out.
for real.
I have a 9-year-old daughter, and I know that sometimes my 9-year-old doesn't always pay attention walking on the
Wanders.
street.
Right.
I have a 5-year-old son. I know for a fact Champ don't be paying attention to
100%.
no damn body walking down the street.
Because they're in their own little
Champ-
world.
right.
Champ
They're in their
ain't
own
never,
world.
Champ
He on
ain't
his
paying
own
attention
beat.
to.
Yeah.
Champ lives by his own rules. Like, here's my thing: it's Champ's world. We all just live in it.
We around it.
That's it.
And so the thing is about Champ, like, I know that Champ has bumped into things and will bump into things, and
Every
Champ's gonna be
day.
Champ. But the thing is, I'm not gonna get mad at an adult because my child may not have been paying attention, and even then, I'm not gonna react like that.
So to me, that says that there is something underlying within our colored community, within Latinos and Black people.
Well, there's been an issue. I'm not from California, but I do know some of my folks out there in Cali. Shout out to Mansa. Shout out to my homie Miriam. I do know that, like, I know Mansa was raised out in Cali,
Right.
and I do remember us talking at one point how the brown folks and the black folks wasn't really seeing eye to eye
Right.
on some things, and I know that's happened across the country, but I think it's time out for that bullshit.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think there's a different culture. Me being raised in the northeastern side of America, when you live up there, Black and Latinos are one.
Yeah.
You're just another
100%.
brown person.
That's
right.
it.
You're just another
We
brown
are
person.
one.
Right.
Unfortunately, the sentiment isn't the same on the West Coast. Or
Now-
once you pass Texas, like Texas on down.
I want to give another shout out to my homegirl Queen.
Okay.
She listens to the show. She's part of the show family, and she is a Latina.
Right.
And she's from up north. She's from Boston,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like the only friction that she saw up there was just brown people saying, "Oh, well, you know, I'm Puerto Rican, so I'm better." Or,
Right.
You know, just
Right.
everybody's shining on each other, but everybody's still together.
The same.
She said she didn't really feel any. And she's Dominican, and so she's like she didn't really understand or really. I don't know if she said understand, but didn't really feel any racism until she
Ever.
got down here.
Ever.
And so the thing is, it's like, what's wrong with us?
I think it all goes back to the whole, you know, I hate to use it as a, you know, analogy, but the whole crab in the bucket thing. Like if you're a brown person, we're all in the same bucket in the eyes of everyone else.
Right.
But it even bothers me, like in my own community now, if say for instance there's a Indian person,
Right.
and your skin is darker than mine 10 shades, but you will walk past me and turn the other way as if I'm invisible. Not to say you have to speak,
Right.
but you know, it's just like, why is there a dividing line between us when technically we fight the same discrimination
Well,
battle on
It's
a
a,
daily basis?
it's
So
a
let's-
discriminatory hierarchy. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
it is.
You have black people here who feel like we've been persecuted forever.
Yes.
So now you have a Hispanic person here, and we've been stepped on, kicked, shitted on, spit on. So now we want somebody to kick shit, spit on, and talk shit
So
about.
look at it like this. Let's go from here. You got white people.
Yes.
Right.
Then you got Irish white people.
Yes.
Right.
Which they
Then
don't
you got-
realize they've been discriminated
Right.
just as
Then you got-
bad.
Right.
Well, not just as bad. If you want to look at the history,
worse.
No, she said that's bad. They
Yeah.
don't even know. They
but then
think
you
they
got
cool
They
with it.
don't.
You got Irish. Then you got Italians. Then you got Catholics.
Come on.
Then you got Jewish folks. But the thing is, you know, you got all these folks who fall under the umbrella of
Of white.
whiteness in
Right.
Yes.
America.
Right.
And then from there, you have the model minority, which is the Asians.
Yes.
And Asian just does not mean Japanese, Taiwanese, Korean,
Laos,
Chinese,
Vietnamese.
Laotian, Vietnamese, all that. When you say Asian, they don't discriminate between those because they don't really know the difference.
Right.
Right.
But the thing is, who also falls into that are those who are from India. Because those who are native from India are seen as the model minority as well. And so, you know, I've had the great experience of working with and being around some amazing folks from India in this country, specifically with one of my first positions that got me here in Charlotte, and I love those folks to death. But they've been seen as the model minority within the hierarchy of race in America. And so then from there, you look at Asians and you put those Indians in there, but you got some Indians that are more dark-skinned than we are.
I met someone you worked with, and my first response to you was, she was so nice.
Really?
I'm telling
Oh,
you.
we did
Remember
talk
when I
about
said
that.
that?
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah,
that
you
was
did talk
different for
about
me.
that.
I was like, that was real. Honestly,
We had lunch with
Right.
a friend, with a work friend of mine, and she still checks on me to this day. Like, she's the sweetest thing ever. And a lot of my Indian folks here in this city, and who have been throughout my childhood and even adulthood, have been just some of the kindest folks ever. I've had to teach. I've had to give a lesson or two on racial politics in America. I was sitting in the car with my Indian friend. I'm not going to say his name. Love him to death. He's one of my buddies. And you so
know
stupid. I'm not messing with you.
he
But
choked.
he said we were in the car, and it was around the time of it was right after Obama's second election. And I was driving him back to his car, and he said, hey, man, let me tell you a political joke. I'm like, what's up? He said, do you know what change stands for? I said, what does change stand for? He said, come help a nigga get elected.
Whoa.
Yeah,
So-
you gonna have to go and get out my car. I'm just saying, no,
on.
ain't no,
So-
I didn't know.
So hold on.
Y'all finna do
So
it.
we on 77.
Get out there.
We-
On
hold on,
77.
hold
On the
We
side of the road.
We on 77, getting on
Hold on,
277 in that loop.
Hold on, wait.
And y'all know me. Y'all know me at this point, right? So I'm looking at him. I said, hey, man,
Hold on.
what's up?
Run that back one more time.
One more time. One more.
He said, change stood for come help a nigga get elected.
I guess
That was
because
a
he
good
felt
one.
like he
Now,
was a person of color. So, you know what
Well,
I'm saying?
you know.
Like,
And
so
it
here's
was
my thing.
okay.
Here's my thing. I didn't understand the dynamic he was coming from.
Right.
And so I didn't want to immediately go left on him thinking that he was coming from a place of superiority.
100%.
But I didn't want to go and dap him up and be like,
Yeah, that's funny. But
my nigga. Like, I'm
Right.
Denzel in Training
Right.
Day from a place of kinship because I didn't know where he was coming from. So here's what I told him. We're sitting in the car. I said, hey, man, I don't know if you've told anybody else that joke, but can you not?
tell my nigga Natty. Yeah. Let me hear that.
I was like, can you not? I said, can you not say that joke, like,
Yeah, man.
around me, around other black people, because it might not come off as well,
It's
for
not.
people who don't know you. And so he was like, nah, I get it. He said, no, he didn't say I get it. He was like, oh, no, I didn't mean to be offensive. He didn't know that it was
Right.
offensive.
Word.
And so I wanted to ask him where he heard the joke from. But I didn't want to get too deep into it because I was like, we in a short car ride. I got to
One of
work with
his
this
white
man tomorrow.
friends.
Yeah.
I was like, I got to work with this man tomorrow. I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to go there. But the thing is, that just goes to show you like some of the quote unquote model minority thought process. And then you have brown people that they think everybody who's brown, whether they be from a Caribbean country or whether they be from South America, they think everybody's Mexican.
Right.
That's for another.
Yeah, that's a whole podcast by
I need to be
itself.
back on that podcast show.
Right.
That's a podcast by itself.
100%.
And then you got black people. Now, even within those hierarchies, you got your straight heterosexual white male. You got your heterosexual white females. And then you have gay white folks. And then everybody goes on down the line. So there are even divisions within the divisions in our country. And so just thinking about all that, like, bro, if you have melanin in your skin and you are under the sound of your voice, if you are in any way darker than mayonnaise, I need you. If you are naturally darker than mayonnaise, I need you to wake up and understand.
Right, that includes the white people with the nice olive colored skin that I like.
yes.
But yeah, you too.
Yes.
Yeah. I need y'all to just wake up and understand we all under the same umbrella. But one person that I do want to vote off this island is Safari.
Oh God.
Safari get rid.
Safari got
Out the whole island.
Safari got to go, bro.
I mean, man, look, every circus need a clown, man. Come on.
And he
Touche.
is such a cornball.
Let him be the clown, man.
He wants that
So
effect,
Safari,
like that attention.
Safari had I guess he was doing a concert recently. I didn't even know Safari's single was still popping. Now don't get me wrong, his single was popping. You go to Onyx, that single, hey.
Yeah.
Really?
Now I hadn't been to Onyx in quite a while.
So you just heard
Onyx
it's
got good
popping
wings.
like that.
Onyx had-
Girl.
Onyx ventilation is out, so it's hot as fucking. Man.
Really? You said that like you was there
Shit.
yesterday.
I
Yo.
was there July the 3rd.
So
The
my
open
boy,
cameo
Don't they?
Okay, so me and Money Marv was planning on going on Tuesday. I guess that's a wrap. I'm not going.
Yeah,
now.
I didn't
$2
get an invite.
Tuesdays?
That was
it's still it's still a good
$100
ticket. It's still a good ticket. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, but
they took the hookah out. So the ventilation. Now the AC
Well, yeah.
works, but
You
the
can't have
ventilation-
hookah and no ventilation. You
Right.
can't have hookah and no
And you
ventilation.
can't have that
That's
much
right.
ass clapping and no ventilation.
Every time
Some
I went in there, wasn't none
funky-
going on.
Listen,
Okay, I'm
there's
just
some
saying, I got a problem.
unhygienic women.
No,
So-
I
so-
would.
I got
honestly-
So
complaints
Natty,
with
we
Onyx.
riding the bikes Tuesday.
I ride the bikes and go to strip club. Boy, that sound
That's
like
a
road.
lot in one
Boy,
day.
that sound like road rash. What you riding the bike? I'm just saying. Shit. I remember the last time I rode my bike. I remember last time I rode my bike to Onyx. $2 Tuesday. I was.
You had way too many $2.
But look here.
His
I
face
couldn't-
looks like
I
he
couldn't-
can vividly
I
remember.
I was trying. I couldn't find the keyhole.
That
On
being
the
said,
bike.
you
On
know
the
what?
bike.
We
On
gonna
the-
keep
the
it
one
moving,
on the
man.
bike.
Let's
Okay.
move on. Safari.
You're a cornball.
Okay, so by count of vote, how many people want to vote Safari off the island?
I don't know. I'm on the
Nah,
fence.
Listen,
You on the fence? What about you?
he's looking for love. And he's doing
He's
it in
looking
the
for
only
attention.
way that
Never
he
mind.
knows how.
Never mind.
Listen.
Natty,
No.
he's trying to ghostwrite his way into love. Okay, we get it.
All he knows is Nikki. That's it. He knows how to ride that wave.
That's it.
That's it.
I mean,
That's all he
I-
has. And
well,
don't
here-
get me wrong.
here's
I'm
my
sure
thing.
he's a great songwriter.
But let's just put it like this: if he wrote Nicki's Monsterverse, he shouldn't have to ride nobody's wave.
Because he should be getting the residuals out of that.
Pull up in a monster automobile gangster.
That was hard.
That verse right there.
Okay, but I got a question.
But he-
I thought it was just the dudes that's kind of like responding to him on the whatever nigga type of thing. Because the chicks was just checking for Safari not too long ago when the photos dropped on social media. I'm just saying.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Y'all see that pic though?
Okay, so first of all, I didn't see the pic.
Nope.
Secondly, what I'm gonna say is,
Hell fucking no.
Natty.
I ain't never got.
no.
I seen
I
it.
play this. I ain't never seen the pic. I don't
seen
care
it.
about the pic. We not gonna talk about this pic on
Okay,
this podcast.
right? Okay, I'm not saying talk about the pig on. I'm saying I thought it was just because it seems like it's the thing. He's getting attention from dudes, even though it's negative attention by saying, "Yo, I sleep with chicks y'all want to sleep with," blah blah blah. All the chicks was just checking for him
But my
when he
thing
was
is,
dropping the
you
pics on
don't
social
do
media.
that at a basketball court
Listen.
full of dudes.
Listen.
100%. I have.
Yeah.
And what is it? Rutgers Park? Like what's
He was at the Rutgers. He looked like he was at the Rutgers.
Listen.
Somebody said, "Yo, my nigga, you might not make it off Dykeman. You keep messing like, you keep acting like this, son."
Yo.
Like, bro, somebody threw a Timberland at this nigga. Like,
And
you
there
know
had to
it's
be
real.
hate to let that Tim go.
Bruh.
if you throw a whole
Listen,
Timberland at this
New
nigga,
Yorkers don't let
butter.
fresh Tims
Right.
come off
Bruh,
their
bruh,
feet. 100%.
I can't believe it's not butter out this bitch.
Look, I was in New York. I see the young lady having a baby with a fresh pair of butters on.
Yeah.
They was willing her in the hospital.
But it's
Yo,
serious.
son, dead ass, you got to get this baby up out
Yo,
of me,
B.
son.
365 days a year,
year.
we are serious about our
They
Tims.
serious about the
Yo, I'm
butters.
gonna tell you like this: if y'all ever see me in butters and shorts,
Nah, I
There's a
can't
problem.
say- Nah, I'm just
We
saying.
gotta have
I
a
mean, you know,
conversation.
Especially in North Carolina heat and
you see
humidity.
me-
right.
No,
Yo,
that's
I
unacceptable.
missed I'm
That
still,
way.
hey, if anybody got the plug on them scuff proof Tims though, I need them
I
because I,
don't
like
like
to ride
nah,
them.
no, I don't like them.
I got the
What,
black
the
one,
construction?
No, the scuff.
The scuff proof joints.
Nah, I mean that's cheating.
No, it
You
ain't.
just gotta learn how to keep your butters clean.
Clean.
Bruh.
If you gonna wear
That-
butters, it's a
yeah.
certain
Hold
ethic
on.
that comes.
It's
My-
listen,
right.
ground rules to butters.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I used to ride in my scuff proof butters. It took me 2 years to get a scuff on them
Because there's
joints.
a difference
Look.
I had
between
to work
regular
my way
butters
into the
and the
stuff.
construction butters. There's
Yeah.
a difference.
Oh yeah,
Because the front looks a
construction.
little bigger.
Yeah, the
because
boxy. Yeah,
yes,
they boxy.
the regular butters.
You got
just
the
a
sexy
low
butters.
profile.
You got
Okay,
the
so I
sexy
have a
butters and the
question.
other butters.
I got a question because somebody told me it was against the rules to get these.
What?
They like the Tims, but they're like the ones with
with
the
the single sole.
with the sneaker sole on the bottom.
No, you gotta
I
get
can't
the
wear
double
those.
sole.
You gotta show
You got-
me.
You gotta get the double
It
sole.
looks like imagine something like
I'm gonna show
a
you.
Chuck or a Vans. It's just a single little
Nah.
plain sole.
Are they like the ones?
I don't know.
Like the
If
Nike
you-
I know
type?
what you're talking about.
If you
Somebody
put
told me
on-
I can't wear those.
If,
I
if,
can't.
if,
that.
if you
Look,
put
if you
on,
don't have the double sole butters. Now the
I
double
mean, a
sole.
female with nice little female.
No.
Nah.
Let me tell you.
it's 2 types of Tims that
Yes.
you are not allowed to wear.
Hold on.
You are not allowed to wear them Tim heels.
I used to have some. I
Bruh.
retired them.
I remember you in them Tim heels. First of all,
2006 and 5
First of-
and
Yeah.
1,
Hold on.
honey, with
Hold on, hold on.
with the jersey dresses.
No, I had a nice little
Listen,
denim
first of all,
jumpsuit.
I remember Miss EP in her Tim heels.
Listen.
Yo, I came in
And
10
I-
whore.
we thought
And
we
I
was
and I
the
almost
shit.
and
I'm
I
not.
almost shot my shot because of them Tim
I
heels.
remember walking
back
in
then in
the Nike
2004.
boots. The Nike boots.
I remember
It might
walking.
have been 10. It might have been 2003, 2004 when I saw you in them.
Yes. Yes.
I remember walking in
I
10 whore
almost shot my shot back
on
then.
the campus.
But I
You couldn't
realized.
tell nobody nothing in them heels.
But the thing is, I knew if I had shot my shot, I would have completely ruined everything I had going on in my life.
Yeah, you weren't ready. Just
I wasn't ready for Miss EP back then, back in 2003, 2004, because I was trash back.
Mm.
I would look at somebody and say, "You go ahead on somewhere else.
So
you
I
you don't
think-
want this."
I know what you about to
that
say. You
line.
about to say, "Go ahead, old bitch ass nigga." That's what you was about to say. What?
Quietly.
Yeah.
Quietly.
I
So, like-
say it. I say it.
I was the originator of nice for what to these niggas. Niggas would say that
Hey.
you was mean as hell. I was like, I wasn't mean.
These are the double soles.
Okay,
Those.
so those
Okay.
are for men.
No, they had the
So,
female
so
double
what
no,
Natty
no.
is- so what
Now, look.
Natty is showing right now is just like the regular,
See,
double sole Tims that
You have to
get
have the gum
at
bottom,
box.
and then
Gotta
you have
the
to
gum bottom.
have, and then you have to have
that
the
hard
other
sole
right
in
here.
Like
between.
to me,
them.
Okay.
those
I
are
call it the
strictly
teeth
for
line.
men.
No, I'm gonna show you
Because
Look,
that does not look good on women.
look, if
at
I see,
all.
If I see a
If you
chick,
can wear
on.
hold on, the only thing y'all can get away with is the Euro boot.
Euro hikers.
The Euro boot
Yes.
y'all can get away with.
yeah, the
Yes.
little beef and
boot is
brock,
fine.
yeah,
Yes,
the little
yes,
beef
yes.
and brock.
Yeah,
And then
the
the-
Euro boot is fine.
And then the kids Tims that just have the one sole, not the
on.
double sole.
You
Those
cannot
look
wear
good for-
these.
No,
not those.
No,
A
no,
single
no.
sole. That's
Look
a single
for 'em
sole.
in-
That's the
in
construction
kids.
joint.
Yes.
He's the single sole. But look, I'm just saying, I don't.
The
wear
single
that.
sole is the construction joints because the thing is you got to have that soft bottom. And that's how I'm
Right.
saying.
That's the single sole right
Look
there.
for
No
the
gum
kids.
bottom.
The kids are the ones that look good for women, and that's the
Okay.
one I have in mind.
Well, let's
And-
talk about that off the air. Let's move
Okay,
on to the
yes,
rest of the
let's
show
go.
because
Talking about these.
we can have all. See, I like
Yes,
them
those
joints.
are the women's.
Trash.
No,
Those-
that's
Trash.
So let's move
For
on.
men, but not
Um,
for women.
bet
So we done talked enough about Tim's right
all
now.
right, let's keep it moving.
For me to have smoke with everybody who ain't wearing the right Tim's out here in these
I won't
streets.
smoke.
But I'm gonna tell you who I want. I'm gonna tell you. No, that's trash.
You gotta wear it right. You gotta
That's
wear it
like-
right.
Hold on, I'm sorry.
That's
I'm
a-
gonna
You gotta wear it
backtrack.
right.
That's
I'm
like a
trying to
Timberland
move on, but
karate
you won't
boot.
let me move
That's
on.
like a Timberland karate boot.
How you gonna have Tim Vans on?
Mom got on Vams.
Right.
Like a
Vamblins. Vamblins.
Tams. I like those.
Get the fuck out of
I
here.
bet
That trash ass
You
shoe away
can't wear
from me.
those.
Listen, you gonna be great in them.
So we gonna
You gonna be great in your
you gonna have
lavender.
to. Okay, so after all of this about Tim's, you're gonna have to post this picture so people can see.
Yeah,
what we
right.
represent. You're gonna have to do a which
Get a
one.
survey.
Put a poll up.
Right,
Is
a
this
poll.
acceptable?
A poll.
Send me that picture. We're gonna do a poll on the page.
He's gonna send you the
that
the
them
appropriate
Tim's is
one.
trash.
No, they're not.
We're gonna
Okay,
say,
no.
does anybody like Miss E. Pat trash ass Tim's,
Or-
do you,
No.
or
Hold
can
on.
you
Or
believe it's not
Natty's.
butters?
Okay, let me just
Yes,
say this.
the ones natties.
Those aren't trash. And somebody gonna hate me for saying this, but the ones that come up to your damn knees and your thighs are.
Oh yeah.
Listen,
Come on, bro. Wait a minute. Now, what you
it
not
just
gonna do?
depends on how you wear them because if
You-
you
no,
wear
no,
them
it
with
depends
a
on-
dope-
But if you knock knee, then a motherfucker.
that's
you got
the
them damn
difference.
boots
Listen,
on.
the more you know,
Cognac.
you got to be self-aware.
Cognac
You look
has
like you
just
got
been
two damn
spilled.
matchsticks trying to strike a light in between your damn knees. Take them shits off.
Cognac has
I
just
can't
been
argue.
spilled on
I
the
can't
set
argue with
of
them.
the Kind of Sleepy podcast. Cognac
You know,
has
because they
been
got the nice
spilled.
little matchstick, brown and then the dark on the top.
This brought
Bruh.
to you by Hennessy.
So Miss EP really didn't.
I'm sorry, I won't smoke with these knock knee motherfuckers in these knee boots. Take them shits off.
But for us that have straight legs,
Okay.
Yo, I'm trying to
good.
get
You can't
serious.
Y'all
tell
can
me.
rock these though.
I'm trying to get serious.
Okay,
Can I
let's
get
go.
serious?
All right, we back.
All right.
I'm back. I'm sorry, got a little heated, got a little hot.
Damn.
You wear your Keds, your Tim Keds.
Right.
You gonna be great in your lavender.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying, y'all can't clam my damn, ankle
No.
booty Tims and shit.
As long as you wear them right,
Your
honey,
Vamblins.
Timberland.
I expect to see a picture in the fall wearing them
Right.
correctly.
She gonna be by her goddamn self.
Don't do that.
You a lie and you know it.
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
Anyway, so let's move on to Austin, Texas. Yeah, y'all already
I gotta
know.
use the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Yeah, because you already know what's coming.
Man.
Austin, Texas.
Gonna
This
be
young
heavy.
man, Devontae Ortiz, 19 years old, apparently was a great athlete. He was coming home to take care of his family, take care of his mom and his sister. He had left college to come home and work and make a little bit of money to help out the household. Was out in the parking lot shooting fireworks with his friends, and this punk ass, bitch ass, weak ass, soft ass, hoe ass, Jason Roche, age 41. I want smoke.
Go ahead.
No smoke, no smoke. I know you don't want it.
Light it
I
up.
want
All
all
the smoke.
the smoke in the world. If I ever see this nigga, like it's a problem. Like I swear to you, it's a problem. Like how do you go out there? So first of all, you and your pops go out there to confront this young man and his friends for popping off fireworks on 4th of July.
4th of July.
I thought this was a celebration of
4th of Ju-
of what y'all love, this country, right?
Nationwide.
Yeah. And so you out there popping fireworks, right? Now I'm glad you didn't call the police on him. Appreciate you for that. But then your bitch ass went out there and tried to confront him on some physical stuff. And my thing is about that, don't come up to me like you want some smoke if you really ain't about that action. Because the only reason most of you dudes out here ain't punks is because you got a pistol on your hip. If you can't throw no hands, you still a punk. You just a punk with a pistol. And that's what this dude, Jason Roche, was. He was a punk with a pistol, walked up on this young man, started talking all this rah-rah stuff, and then his dad decided to get in this young man's face. So the young man, backed him up off him.
Yeah.
The dude fell. Jason Roche decided it's a good time to pull out his strap and blast that this young 19-year-old man who had his whole life ahead of him and kill him. Now, here's my thing about this. So when the police get there, your weak ass gonna tell him that you thought he had a gun and that he act like he reached for a gun
The cop
and that he
out.
was coming at you like he had a strap. And all this, you knew good and damn well this young man didn't have a strap. All you saw was a young athletic, happy, brown child in Austin fucking Texas, and you decided you was gonna come out there with your strap and try to scare them, and then when it didn't go the way you wanted it to go, you decided to kill somebody because you're too much of a punk to handle your business the right way with your bitch ass. So I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit emotional about this.
It comes back
because I get really tired of hearing these damn stories. Like, I get really sick of these stories about these punk ass people walking up on our children like they really got a problem when our children just trying to live their damn lives. And I'm so tired of this shit. I guarantee you that they would not do this stuff in some of these other neighborhoods and some of these more privileged neighborhoods, because they punks. All these punks out here in these streets thinking that the police gonna protect them from their own punkhood. No, you still a punk.
It comes back to
your bitch ass. Sorry,
America great again.
How about we make your bitch ass soft again?
That's all it comes back to.
Right.
Their empowerment of self. Like, we are empowered to confront you in any way, shape, or form that we deem necessary to make right.
Word.
So they have the balls. They feel ballsy. And I really think that they are very intimidated. Let's be real. Let's be real. If you put a black man and a white man in a ring, Dolo, to scrap, who's gonna win?
I don't know, man.
With me being
no. Listen,
I watch UFC.
But take that out. No, let it be some regular schmegular, average people. Equally regular.
9 to 5.
Regular
9 to 5.
schmegular.
Equally regular.
9 to 5.
Right, equally regular. Like, you and
Here's
another
my thing.
guy.
I think that naturally, if you put a guy in a ring with me, I think naturally I'm going to have more aggression
100%.
and more anger to take out on somebody.
Well, I'm not taking the L.
Than my friends who may be Caucasian.
Right.
I'm not going to take an L.
And that's not to say that my Caucasian friends are soft.
But
it's just to say that I have more anger built up within me.
But that comes from our ancestry of protection.
It becomes that as well
That's
as just
it.
my experience.
That's it. So we are about that life naturally. From our ancestors, we are about that life. That's why we never really felt the need to conquer people.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Even though in war and battle for tribes or whatever, it was more about territory.
It was about resources
Land
and
and
territory.
resources.
That's it.
It
wasn't really about control of people. It was more about resources.
Take your women, take your children, take the
And we had a mutual respect.
Right.
That existed
of the culture.
also. Right.
So, but when it comes to
that's deep.
Caucasian, listen.
Yo, I'm all ears.
Yo,
but when it comes to Caucasian
we
people,
speaking that real shit right now.
You know, they realized, I think, a long time ago that the world is colored.
They've been doing
right.
Well, one of the 48 laws of power is destroy your enemy completely.
So
and I think they took that
literally.
I think they
and
learned
ran
that
with it
well before it was even written down as anything. And where they learned that from, essentially, I mean, if you read the Bible talks about leave no children, and I think that thought process is something that's as old as the history of man.
100%.
And so the thing is, if you take that into the colonial period where these nations were going out and colonizing, they felt as though they were in a new crusade, or they was living the Old Testament all over again, and so they felt like they shouldn't leave a child, a woman behind.
Look
and
at
they
the word
killed them all.
colonize.
Right.
Yeah.
And what I will say, what we should have done as the original Aborigines or whatever land.
Come on.
We should have went ahead. Look, anything that came off that boat that looked
I'm
like
burning
Queen
the
Elizabeth.
whole motherfucking
because who?
But that's not in our DNA.
Right. That's
not
my point.
That's the difference.
So
right.
And that's my biggest problem with us as a people right now is because
we still try to play nice.
Here's what pissed me off. Damn near 5 minutes after those 9 people, God rest their soul, that were murdered in Mother Emanuel down there in Charleston. Like 5 minutes after that happened, they were like, well, do you forgive them?
For what?
You ain't never asked one of them mothers from Newtown, did they forgive that man that killed their babies?
In Connecticut, 100%.
You ain't never asked them that. Immediately when black people are the victims of any kind of crime like that or any kind of
We're
hate
supposed to be
incident,
forgiven.
the first thing that you ask, the first thing that you hear these so-called Negro leaders out here say is, we got to forgive and turn the other cheek. Well, I tell you like this, what would Jesus do? Jesus would have flipped over some damn tables and chased you bastards out of here with a whip for using...
He was about that life.
Man, y'all
Listen.
got to quit playing with...
Listen.
Quit playing...
Jesus
quit
was
playing with my
about
people.
that life.
Here's the thing: people don't understand. Like I'm not the most religious person in the world because I hate religion. I love relationships.
Say it again.
And so the thing is with me, like y'all gonna quit playing like Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and all these other people that these religions quite literally see as their Messiah was punks. You're going to stop playing them
Yes.
like that because these people were actually warriors.
Yeah, you could be no
Jesus
boss.
was quite literally a warrior. How many people you know right now would walk into certain death and be fine with that? I know good and damn well if you put me up there and you tell me, hey, go on carry that cross up there so I can nail you to it, I'm going to be like, shit.
Well,
Can we work something out? You know,
You got
I'm
a
just-
payment plan?
right now.
I got sins that I'm about to
I got
carry.
about 20 on it.
Look, now I just got my credit score up. So,
Yeah.
can I carry like this one piece of the cross
Can I
right
put
now?
this
me
on
a
a
cross,
deferment
on,
plan?
Yeah, on a cross payment
Yo,
plan.
y'all remember when Chris Rock used to do it? Was it in Living Color?
Can
Can I get half?
Can I get you $1 and
how
just
much
lick
is
your
one-
fingers?
How much is one reel?
We don't have the
That's
balls.
expensive.
That is putting your life on the
The
line for
greats-
people that don't give a fuck about
Let me tell you something very powerful that I learned from a man that I never actually got to learn from. The late, great Donald Crawford Sr. He just passed a little while ago back in Birmingham. He was the longtime band director for Jackson High School, which literally was a spitting image of Alabama State University's marching band at one point. I mean, this was the best band in the doggone state for years. He said one time, and I learned this from my friend, the price of glory is high. And that was his band's motto, the price of glory is high. And so the thing is, when you think about the term glory, you don't think about the sacrifice oftentimes it takes to get to that place of glory.
Word.
And so the thing is, when they talk about the price of glory being high, they talk about the sacrifices that you make.
Word.
And those sacrifices, more often than not, are of not only your ego, but it's of your time, your energy, your money, and your peace. And the thing is, for so many years, for so many generations, we have sacrificed our peace for the appeasement of others. If black people were even half as violent as certain
As
folks,
me.
if black people were even
violent
half
as
as
shit.
violent as certain folks would want you to believe, this country would be in flames right now.
It would
The
be
Purge.
in civil war.
Look.
The
100%.
The purge would have been real.
The purge
Yes.
would have been real.
I mean,
And it could be.
Look.
Hey, we talked about that last week. Let's move on to other things that's gonna piss you off.
Let me pull this cognac.
Post some more hints.
Okay, but I have a question.
Go
Not
ahead.
to backtrack and not to hold us up, but who told? I'll say brown people. Who told brown people we were a minority?
Who told?
The one,
I'm gonna take that
How
one step further.
how
Wait,
are
stop,
brown
stop,
people
stop,
a
stop, stop.
minority?
Let's take that one step further. Let's ask the same question that Malcolm X asked us. Who taught you to hate yourself?
Right.
Who taught you to hate your skin, your
Again,
hair,
it-
your lips, your nose?
Willie Lynch.
All that.
Willie Lynch.
Let's
Willie
not go
Lynch.
there.
Oh, God.
Now,
Willie
let's,
Lynch.
let's,
Please
please
don't
don't
say
get me
that.
started on that.
Listen.
Hold
We
on,
just
wait,
gonna- we just gonna say
No,
go
no, no.
forward.
We're gonna stop right here, but we already know.
No, Chad is a whole Willie Lynch person.
Nessa,
You already-
do not do
I'm
that.
I'm not gonna open up that box, but
what
we
y'all
already
is-
know.
No, he's anti.
What
We
y'all
anti-Willie
cheering?
Lynch.
What y'all
Because
cheering doing down there?
Here's my thought process.
What
I'm
y'all
sorry,
cheering
Grandma.
doing?
Grandma, I'm sorry.
Y'all done making y'all cheering, making all that noise.
Grandma
I'm up
back.
here. I'm up here trying to get Ernest. I'm trying to get Ernest his suit so he can lay down, and y'all down here in this basement making all this noise, yelling
Grandma,
at
we
each other.
sorry.
Listen,
I thought y'all supposed to been shooting y'all cardcasts.
listen.
Y'all down there.
Grandma, we good. We good, Grandma.
We are great people of color. We come from
Here's my
ancient
thing.
blood
Y'all
and
stop.
history.
Y'all stop
Grandma.
arguing down
All
there.
right,
Okay,
Grandma.
Grandma, we
Okay.
got you. We got
Y'all
you. Grandma.
hungry?
No, we good, Grandma.
All
Appreciate you now.
Okay.
All right, Grandma.
All
But
right,
no, the
knowledge.
biggest. Thank you, Grandma.
I'm
I
on
appreciate
closing. Miss extra special. What's her name again?
you.
Knowledge?
Miss EP.
Miss EP. You okay?
Yes, I'm all right, Grandma.
What's that good hair girl that's down there with y'all?
Miss Nessa.
Nessa, you
Nessa.
all right? Okay.
We good over here.
All right now, knowledge. I'm going back.
Okay, I got you.
All right.
I appreciate it. My biggest thing is I don't believe we need fairy tales when the truth is ugly enough.
It is.
We don't.
And Willie Lynch is a fairy tale.
That is.
He never existed.
We're going to
It
talk about
was
that out
written-
the air.
It was written by a black man in Durham. He never. Now, are there some truths in that? Yes, but I don't think we need a fairy tale to tell us the truth when the truth is ugly enough to give it to us.
Okay.
Especially when you got let's look at it like this, right? And I said this on Facebook. There are people right now who are 60 years old, right? And they said that they have never seen race relations as bad as it is in America. And they blame Barack Obama for these race relations. Now check this out. I tell them, you are a bald-headed ass lie. You were 5 years old when both Robert F. Kennedy as well as Martin Luther King were murdered. Murdered. You were alive when you saw George Wallace, the former governor of Alabama, run for the presidency with a slogan of segregation now, segregation forever. Don't you ever sit here and tell me with your nigga ass lips that you have ever seen.
Okay.
This is, but let's move on.
Right,
I want to
right,
get through the rest of the stories.
Yes,
Let's move to the rest of the stories. So next up, we got license plate Linda.
Oh, Jesus.
So
MTB.
So check this out. So this is absolutely crazy. Like, this is the craziest story.
Is
like,
it? Is it?
So this happened in Ohio. This happened in Ohio. Ohio right now is the new Florida, as far as I'm concerned.
No, really?
So check this out.
Oh.
So this young woman, Dominique Duskin, and her post is shared on our Facebook page. She says, "Let me tell y'all about license." I'm gonna use her voice too. I'm gonna make.
Why
her
you
voice.
got to make her voice?
Let me tell y'all about license plate Linda. Yesterday, I'm at my cousin's house, and this is exactly how she wrote. I'm not changing a damn word she wrote.
Okay, so maybe that voice applies. Go
Yesterday, I'm at my cousin's house, enjoying my family, living our best life. And here come racist ass, petty ass neighbor Linda Shad, her husband Robert Shad, and son Nick Shad, trying to get all our cars towed because we were blocking my cousin, whose house we was over, driveway. Right. We didn't block her driveway or anybody else's property except my cousin. So why is Linda so concerned? Wow. So when the police came, they did nothing but pretty much told Linda to go in her house and mind her business. So we went back to our party. So people were preparing to leave. Linda and her family decided they were going to bend everybody's license plate, keep people cars, and pretty much damage people's property. So we called the police. They started fingerprinting the tags. By the time they got to the fourth car, Linda confessed to, and Colerain Township locked her bitch ass up. Moral of the story is this. People need to mind their own business.
Wait a minute. Where's that meme of that white woman saying that bottle of mind your own motherfucking business?
So she said, moral of the story is this. People need to mind their own business, and shout out to Colerain for doing their due diligence, because it could have went differently. Oh, by the way, this is Linda and her family, and this is some of the damage she did. And they posted pictures of her and her husband, and her and her son,
smiling
all of
and
whom
cheesing,
who were posting these, who were bending these license plates. So she got a count. She got one count of disorderly conduct. She got a count of damaging or endangering others. She got another count of damaging or endangering others. She got like 4 counts of that shit. So she got 4 counts of criminal damaging, endangering, and she got 1 count of disorderly conduct off of this. So that's license plate Linda. Let's move on down the road to Ohio. Still in Ohio. This young man in Columbus, Ohio, was delivering newspapers, and some nosy neighbor decided to call the police on this 12-year-old boy because she saw him hop out of a van, walk up to a handful of houses. She said she initially assumed he was delivering newspapers, but she soon thought otherwise.
Oh, he was a nigga.
So when the mother, who was driving him around for this paper route, explained to the police officers that that's exactly what they were doing, the officer said, I quickly determined that that's exactly what he was doing. Mind your damn business.
Hold on. I'm trying to find.
You gonna find that meme?
I'm gonna find that meme. Listen, I have it posted.
All right.
Because
So check this out. Here's another one of people calling the police on folks. This happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The Minnehaha. Wow, I just read that name. This
Isn't
is
that a club in Birmingham?
Amani Raha. What's that club? God damn. Terrell Owens owned that club.
no.
Terrell Owens was one of the owners of Amani Raha. God damn.
God,
So the Minnehaha Falls policeman.
that sound like your Indian co-worker.
Here we go.
All right, go ahead.
We missed you, Ned.
Go ahead, so I can play this.
So the Minnehaha Falls police pulled up on these 4 black kids
Terrible.
whose ages probably. So this is. I'm gonna read the exact post. Today, Minnehaha Falls cops drew guns on 4 black kids, ages probably ranging from 9 to 12. When my partner and I arrived, the kids were being harassed by a young white guy who appeared to be around 17 years old. He was spouting racial slurs at them and aggressing them with a metal trash can lid, saying he had a knife. A girl was with him on her phone. I'm assuming she was with the police. Some people nearby approached and seemed to de-escalate the situation. We walked further and heard shouting, and when we came back around, we saw a squad car. 2 of the children were handcuffed and in front of the squad car. One was begging for his shirt on the ground because he was being bitten by mosquitoes. My partner tossed him a shirt, and the cop jumped out of the squad car and started yelling at us that we were interfering with an arrest. I asked the cop why he was arresting the kids as they had done nothing wrong, and he said they had received a call that the kids had a gun. We were approached by the people who had been de-escalating earlier, who told us that both cops had jumped out of their cars, guns already drawn, with the guns right in the children's faces. The family was also black, and the mother said her and her son had ran and hid when the police arrived because they were waving their guns around. Her little boy kept asking if they were going to be arrested too.
Can I go ahead?
Go ahead.
Sad because that family's enjoying a picnic in the park while being black. Did that customer in front of you just speak a language that makes you irrationally angry? Well, this is a great time to try. Mind your own f***ing business. With Mind Your Own f***ing Business, you'll be able to grow the f*** up and act like a decent f***ing human being. Our patented technology allows you to pull your head out of your ass and see the world beyond the brim of your MAGA hat.
Hi, honey. I saw some black people at the Starbucks today.
Did you mind your own f***ing business?
I sure f***ing did.
Stop bothering those nice people today with Mind Your Own f***ing Business.
Side effects may include not harassing people, no one getting arrested or murdered by police, a general sense of well-being for people of color, a lack of internet fame and or trolling and coexistence. Please consult your doctor if you are still a piece of shit after minding your own f***ing business, as the symptoms may be a result of a deeper problem and require further treatment.
Now available at Anthropology and Whole Foods.
Wait.
All the way live.
I gotta go
look,
to the back.
and that's it. And after that, that's it. You know, and at the end of the day, man, you know, like I said before, it get to a point though, family, where, I mean, it's just, I'm desensitized to it to a point, man. It's just, it doesn't even surprise me. But where do we stand at? To where
That
we,
makes sense.
you know what I mean?
That's a good question.
I mean, where we stand at? Because at the end of the day, I'm not finna be the dad that let somebody disrespect children or my child when they're only doing something to better themselves. I'm not finna be that dad. So the world needs knowledges. The world needs Tenaros. The world needs Miss EPs. Because at the end of the day, we bring both ends of the spectrum. And if we continue to let this happen, and we can shine the light on it, but when we're going to go ahead and close the chapter on it?
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
There's more. There's more. There's more. We got more.
I'm trying to hold it.
Chicago, Philadelphia, Philly,
The
city of brotherly love. These young men were out, and I know you guys have been riding around and have been seeing, kids who might, be collecting donations for their football team. Like every time I go to Freedom sometimes and I see kids out there, doing a little roadblock.
Shit, I go down Tyvola, I see the same motherfuckers asking for motherfucking change. Excuse me.
One of the Philadelphia Zoo security guards
gun
decided she didn't like these kids asking for donations outside of the zoo. And she approached them And apparently the kids said, "Nah, we good. We gonna keep on collecting these donations."
Yeah, I know they said, they were like, man, get your ass out of here before you fuck around and have my young bulls come over here.
You gotta use the Philly.
Where my young boy at? My young boy, look, man, look.
And so the thing is, instead, she decided to call the Philly PD. So the Philly PD comes out there, does not de-escalate the situation.
Nah.
And the video is on the Facebook page where they're actually beating, like he's throwing punches at this kid's head. Now, I got to give a shout out to her coworker, the black coworker.
Word.
Come on, sis.
Checked her white coworker and said, this is what you wanted.
Doing. This is what you made.
This is what you did.
You made this situation.
You made this happen. And that speaks to what you were talking about. You said, when we going to stop letting this happen?
Yeah. Come on, man.
That's how we bring it to attention. And you take the person when the police do this kind of stuff, and you let that person who called the police and them see how scared that young man is. Yeah. See how this man just got brutalized because of your actions right there.
And you hit the first domino. You hit the first domino.
Because so many people feel like, well, I didn't do it. Like, that's not my fault. I didn't do that to him. No, it is indirectly your fault that this young man has now had to face that issue.
He now has to look at the police with fear every time he comes across them. And here's what kills me. I'll never forget seeing that sign that says, they kill our daddies and laugh at us for being fatherless. That sign broke my heart when I saw it. It hurt me so bad to see that sign. But then I look at stuff like this, and I'm like, every time a young black person is killed by police, like Tamir Rice, or even when it's just by a white person who feels like they have the authority, like Trayvon Martin, they always say, well, if y'all didn't hate the police so much, then maybe they wouldn't act like this. Or, maybe if y'all would treat the police better, they wouldn't act like this. Or, this, that, and the third. Okay. And I'm like, look at how the police treat us, and how would I be able to treat you like that?
But see, I mean, I'm gonna add this to it though, knowledge. I mean, if we ever take a bigger look, I mean, we have African Americans that are in this police society. When do they stand up for us?
And that's my
question. When do they say?
Now, I will say I have come across some brothers who are in law enforcement. I'm not gonna say no names because I don't want to put. I know that they doing their thing. I know a couple of good brothers who are in law enforcement. And so I don't people always get it misconstrued about me. I don't hate law enforcement.
No,
not
at all.
Bad law enforcement.
Not at all. I hate racist individuals with a badge and a gun.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I mean, because me and you both, we were in a form of law enforcement, being in the military.
In the military, right.
So, a lot of people might look at United States military as a form of, whatever the fuck.
We're an occupying force in some countries.
But my thing is this right here. If we have a domestic suit right here, quote unquote, our police department, and we have individuals of color within this police department, and they are seeing these injustices that are going on, and they are already seeing the misdirection that is happening between African Americans and Anglo-Saxon cops. When do you say inside of your organization, look here, bro, this is not we're not gonna have that. Look, when do you stand up inside of that organization? You feel what I'm saying? And my point is, because I had a conversation with my brother, number one. He's a police officer down in Georgia. And I had the same conversation. He was like, look, I'm going to be honest with you. He said, they are trained different.
Here's the thought
They are
process.
trained. That's terrible.
Here's the thought process.
When you have a unit.
Check this out. Here's the thought process. And I've heard this from people in the military. When you join this military, it ain't no black, it ain't no white, we all green.
Oh, shit.
We all green.
So when you join the police force, ain't no black, it ain't no white, we all blue. So when you tell me blue lives matter, being blue is a choice.
No, I'm not even going to say that.
I didn't choose to be black, but I've still lived with being black and been damn proud of it.
But with any choice that we make,
we have the ability to shape it.
You feel me? Be happy with the choice that you make. Do not coincide and don't rock with the wave. Because at the end of the day,
especially if the wave wrong,
it could be you, it could be your mom, it could be your dad, it could be your brother, it could be your sister.
But that takes courage.
And look,
that takes courage.
It ain't too many people out here with that courage to go to work and be like, nah, fuck y'all.
Right, because that puts your livelihood on the line. Mm-hmm. Because if it was just up to people, you wouldn't give a fuck about who thought what. Who cares?
See, that's why I love Kaepernick.
It's only put your livelihood on the line if you feel like that's the only lifeline you have.
Right.
But if you
And
go
that's
ahead,
real.
when you
That's
sit here
very
and
real.
you speak up on a situation that everybody probably want to speak up on,
Right.
but they couldn't do it because like shit, I'm gonna pay the fucking rent.
Mm-hmm.
But now you got people who actually follow you, who
Right.
actually fuck with you. Instead of you getting this fame for riding the wave, now you making your own.
And that's why you have to respect Kaepernick.
All
Because
all
he
day.
put his livelihood,
He said, "Fuck
his
this
bread
NFL.
and butter.
Fuck this
Millions away.
NFL."
Now, I'm sure he was smart enough before he even
Right.
took that stance
Yeah.
and said, I got X amount and I can live off of that. Because I know there's going to be people that are going to support me and they're going to back me. Even though the NFL is going to pull the rug under my feet, I'm ready for that. And I'm ready to sacrifice
Smart
that
man. Very smart man.
to
Yo.
for the bigger cause of, because he's biracial.
For what
Right?
for what he loved to do,
Right.
football, dedicated.
He was
himself to it.
sacrificing his football career for the bigger
He
purpose
walked away
of
from millions of dollars
100%.
to help people that look like him.
And so
It's
you
amazing
have
to
to
me.
respect that. You have
Definitely.
to. And if you don't have the courage in his platform, because he has a huge platform,
Use the platform you have.
100%.
Your front door is your front door.
That's
Can't
it.
nobody sweep
Absolutely.
it. Can't nobody dirty it up but you.
But
And like I always say, it's like if you already have an inside connect of what's happening, you already know what's shaking out here.
Right.
Why would you sit here in the same fucking boat knowing it's going down shit creek?
to
Why would you do it?
To piggyback off of that idea, though, about just your average man, right?
Right.
And your livelihood, and how am I going to make it if I do, stand up and voice what's right?
Right.
You got Zimmermans. You got these police officers. Hold on. You got these police officers, right? They doing shit that's wrong. And they got GoFundMe accounts with
Come on.
thousands of dollars.
Tens of
I'm
thousands.
talking about buku money in there,
Right.
right? It was so much to the point where I was like, yo, my whole conspiracy theory is there's this underground network and they like, yo, do some foul shit, but we're going to make sure you straight when
We
it's
gonna
done. We're
get
going to
this
make sure
paper.
your
Because
family
they
good,
stick
right?
for each
Because they
other.
stick for each other. So why is it if it's the average man and you stand up for what's right, you don't get no
Look at it
GoFundMe
like this.
account?
Darren Wilson, the cop that shot Michael Brown, between what he got paid for his interview and between his GoFundMe, he made $1 million.
Come on.
for
Come on.
Michael
Speak
Brown.
on.
Good.
Off
Right.
of black pain, man.
Off of a
pain.
dead black
Black
body,
pain, man.
baking
So when
in
you
the
say,
summer sun.
so
Think
when you
about
say
it.
what's the body worth,
So,
what's
when
your
we-
life worth? That's
when we
it.
talk
That's
about
it.
when we talk about southern trees bearing
It's a price.
strange fruit,
It's a price tag on your ass.
you got southern trees bearing strange fruit, and Billie Holiday said black bodies swinging in the southern breeze.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking about Michael Brown. They don't have to hang you anymore
No.
because you're baking in the
They can-
sun
they
the
can-
same way.
They shit
On
your
the
ass
floor,
there in the fucking street and
on
leave
the
your ass
concrete.
there for everybody to fucking see.
And
You
they
know,
left
but-
him
but
for
let me tell you- but
hours.
let me tell you why I have a big problem with my millennial generation. It's because, the Generation X had Fight the Power. The previous generations had Say It Loud, I'm Bragging, I'm Proud. You had Strange Fruit. You had all that.
We got Kiki to 11.
Outside of J. Cole, who is really making those songs
Those
that talk about the
revolutionary?
worth of? I mean, and I'm talking about mainstream. I'm not talking about Dead Prez. 'Cause Dead Prez been doing it forever. Shout out to Stickman and M1. They've been doing it forever, and I love those brothers for real, for real. Like I love them for real. Like Monique says she love us. Like I love them for real. I love Donnie and his Colored Section album. I love it. But the thing is, who out there that's in the mainstream is really making music that talks about the pain that we have outside of J. Cole?
It's not, because they want to be so inclusive. They want to have this
Everybody- here's
unity
the
thing,
thing.
which is nothing wrong with it.
No, actually
but
it
we're
is.
not there.
Actually, it is. It is something wrong with it. And here's why I say this. If you can dance with me and hear Chris Brown say, "What up, my nigga? What up, my nigga?"
Right,
Everybody want to be a nigga till it's time to be a nigga.
Until-
So when the
say it
thing is,
again.
if you gonna stand in the club and dance to "What up, my nigga,"
Yeah.
when my nigga is laying dead in the street,
100%.
bleeding and dying, you need to be right there with me, being
100%.
upset and crying.
That's why I say, if there ever broke out
Bars.
a revolution, a civil war in this country, if we ever had a civil war, it literally would be us against them.
That's it.
And
the thing
how?
is,
Who
some
would
of-
stand with
hold
us?
up, but some of us will be on their side.
You think so?
I know so.
Definitely.
I knows.
So
Think
then
about it.
that
13.
comes-
Listen, here's my proof. Here's my proof. Here's my
This
proof.
commercial is brought to you.
Here's my proof. Hennessy. Here's my proof. 13% of black male voters voted for Trump.
What does that say?
Look, man, fuck them numbers.
What does that?
say?
This is
What
I'm
does
saying
that
this right
say?
here. What does that say?
What does that
Who
say?
taught you to love you? Who taught you to
Who
hate
taught
yourself?
you to hate
Look,
yourself?
this is what I'm gonna go ahead and put this in, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull this cup
Of what?
of this cognac.
Because we got like 3 more stories.
But I'm gonna say this.
4 more stories.
But
We got
I
4
wait to
more.
the end, to the we won't smoke
So
section.
next up, well, I already did. I won't smoke.
Oh no!
I
Get your
want my
smoke.
Can I get? Can
Go
I
ahead,
get
get your
I wait
smoke.
on the end.
Go ahead.
Let's wait to the end. Let's wait to
Yeah,
the
I
end.
wait to the end.
All right. So the woman we talked about last week, where this woman was harassed for wearing a Puerto Rico shirt, and the cop did nothing to help her.
All right.
That cop has quit, and the man has been charged with a hate crime.
That don't mean shit.
And that's what I was gonna say.
That don't mean shit.
Look, number one, that means shit because number one, he might get missing.
I don't give a damn about the charge. I care about the conviction.
He might get
It's
missing.
not going to happen.
Well, and that's the same thing I said. I said, don't placate me with a charge if you're gonna miss me with a conviction.
If it hasn't happened for black people, you really think it's going to happen for Puerto Rico? Like somebody that really discriminated of a U.S. territory.
Hold on. Think about it. If they didn't even give enough of a fuck about Puerto Rico to help fix it,
Say that again.
they
Yeah,
damn
they
sure ain't
still
gonna-
out of lights. What you
Say
mean?
that again and say it a little bit slower.
Oh God.
Welcome.
So
Welcome to the
moving on.
Night
to-
Hawk speaking.
No, but that's bullshit because that lets you know how ignorant white people are
But
to
let's-
even
let's-
their own
let's-
territory.
But here,
And
this
that's
is
why
what
I
said.
call
Hold
some
on.
races ignorant.
This is
100%.
But this is what I said a couple weeks ago. I said, but the thing is, a lot of them and the ones who we need to be most afraid of are ignorant.
True.
They know.
Stephen Miller, who is a
Oh,
white supremacist and who is the most disgusting human being I've ever seen in my life, has a degree from Duke.
That
don't
don't mean
make
they're
it
not
shit. That don't
ignorant.
mean shit.
Like just
Listen
you're-
to me. When you say
Fuck Duke.
ignorant, the first thing you say the first thing you think when you say ignorant, what is the first thing you think?
the lack of knowledge.
That drunk ass dude on the video who was ignorant as fuck.
Wait.
Right. And so you think when you think ignorant, you think uneducated, you think
Okay.
dumb, you think
Right.
out there acting stupid, being a redneck, yelling about woohoo,
Right.
and all that. I was about to say Roll Tide,
It
and I went to
almost came
Alabama.
out. It almost came out.
And I went to Alabama. Yeah, I had to catch myself.
Right, yeah.
But the thing is, we saw the epitome of that down there in Tuscaloosa. But at the same time, we also saw very, very educated bigots. So we can't always claim it's ignorance.
Right.
Sometimes it's decided apathy. It's willful ignorance that I'm most afraid of.
I agree.
You know, even though Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory, with the
Shout out
same,
to Captain Santiago. That's my homie. He was one of my favorite officers in the Army. He was in Puerto Rico.
Oh, I was
So I
gonna
gotta
say,
shout
nigga,
out to Captain
I like,
Santiago.
goddamn, he was on Pirates of the Caribbean.
Come on.
He might be a major now.
You know,
for
Puerto
Lieutenant
Rico
Colonel.
is a U.S. territory. Citizenships, they are citizens from the time they are born. However,
Right. The city is fucked up.
we are all Mexicans
to them.
to them.
Really?
The fact that he asked that woman, "Can you prove you're here legally?"
Again,
Your dumb
we
ass.
are
Right.
the ignorance of level. It's like saying all Asians are Asians. You know what I'm saying? They don't know if they're from Thailand, from Laos, from Vietnam, from Japan, from China,
That's like saying all black people are black.
right? Or all Africans are black.
Well,
like
here's the thing. All black people in America are considered black.
Right.
They don't know you're Nigerian, or
West
from
African,
Cote d'Ivoire,
Ivory
Right.
Coast,
or
Guam.
Senegalese,
Why
or
are we
anything.
called black?
Right.
Because we
I
don't-
ain't-
sorry.
I'm not.
You want to know
Why
why?
are we called black?
I like. Hold on.
I had an
Before we
argument
get to the
about
rest
this
of these, stories,
Let's get this on the We Won't
hold
Smoke
on.
in. Let's get
So
on
the thing
topic.
is, the reason I love being called black.
Why?
Let me ask you a question. What country in Africa are you from?
I know I can't identify where I'm from, right? I can't do that.
Okay,
but
you
why
can.
am I called a color? Nobody else is called a color. Nobody else is defined
But
as
see,
a color.
But see, that's why I love being called black, because we encompass every color in the spectrum.
100%.
I mean, I get
We
that.
are
Black-
everything.
Black is the absence of color if you look it up
No.
in the dictionary.
Well, here's the thing, though. If you take every single color in the spectrum and put it together, what do you get?
It's gonna make black.
It makes black.
Yes.
You take every single
So
color
that
in
is the
spectrum.
absence of color. Because once you
Well,
mix
yeah,
it all
it's-
together,
because
there's
it's not
the
white.
absence of.
It's
right.
not white.
But see, the thing is, but how is it created, though? How is that absence
Because you
created?
take out white.
And in the words of Kanye
You take
West,
out white. You take
That's
out
what's
light.
beautiful, though.
Scooby Doo.
so stupid.
I had to do it. I've been
But that's the beauty of it. Like only a black woman can make a child of any range of color in the
Blue
spectrum.
eye, dark skin, beautiful.
I've seen it,
and that's what I think is beautiful, and that's why I love being black.
Look, man, you gonna call me by my daddy's last name? How the fuck you gonna call me? Hey, that boy there, Reed.
God. But coming back to Puerto Rico, I just think it's it's
sick.
I don't want to even say it's lack of knowledge because they know.
They know.
They 100%.
It's harassment.
know.
That's why I'm like, stop explaining racism to white people because some of them actually get enjoyment from our pain.
Mm-hmm.
They want to put us all, Hispanic people, into the Mexican box, which I love my Mexican brothers and sisters.
Shout
I have
out to
plenty.
Cholos.
Yes, I have plenty of brothers and sisters, cousins that I have grown up with Mexican people in my life, and I love them. They are just like us.
Shout out to my homeboy D-Lo at Evolution Tattoos. That's my primo, El Salvadorian.
Listen, they are all. But at the end of the day, we are all people of color.
Period.
Amen.
All people, indigenous.
Amen.
Because we are all indigenous.
I love that word, indigenous.
Because it's just not black. We are all native of a particular place. Whether it was...
Except for white people. Let's think about it.
Well, here's the thing. In America, whiteness is supreme to everybody's indigenous culture.
They aliens.
Whiteness is the default.
They made that
They
because they knew that people of color... If you go from Western Hemisphere to Eastern Hemisphere, everybody is colored.
Let me check it. Hold on, I'm going to pause right here. We had 90 minutes already, so let's go and get through the rest of this.
All right, let's go. Let's
go wrap this shit up. So shout out to Mortis, the safety tortoise, a.k.a. Mitch McConnell. He got ran smooth up out of a restaurant by some people playing Fight the Power. You cannot beat black people.
Shout out to Chuck D.
Yes.
Shout out to
and
Chuck.
the originators.
But why did they run him out of the restaurant though?
It hurt his ears. It was like holy water for the devil.
I'm trying to tell you. Fight the power.
I can see it.
You know what?
Sizzle, right.
When I go home tonight, you know what I'm going to watch?
What?
Do the right
thing.
Do the right thing.
I'm going to get
After Power.
I'm going to get a slice of pizza from Sal.
Right, After Power.
Yeah, we got to watch
Power.
I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all about it.
No,
Keisha
no,
got
nigga,
killed.
shut up.
She
got killed.
We going to fight.
I'm just lying.
You can't ruin that
I
for
love
us.
you, Natty, but we was going to fight right here.
Man, then we had that conversation.
We was going to be two little niggas in swinging.
Look, he said he would fight for who? Killer Mike. He would fight for Killer Mike.
Gosh, here we go.
Yeah, I remember. The last time we was on,
You can't beat
my
black
brother,
folks.
my homie, my right-hand man said he would fight. He said, anybody you can fight for, who'd you fight for? He said, Killer Mike.
What's understood ain't got to be explained, though.
But
You
he
already know
want to
that,
fight
though.
me.
But you already know that, though, bruh. What's understood ain't got to be explained.
It's a friendly fight.
You know I'm killing a rock for you.
You the rock.
You so stupid. Why you stupid?
I miss y'all, man. I miss y'all. I swear I did. I miss
Papa
y'all,
John's founder
Get him
and
the fuck
chairman
up out of here.
said, you niggas don't deserve his pizza. And so
And them niggas finna steal.
he got you niggas.
Nobody want that old sweet and sour ass
Nasty ass pizza. That
old-
pizza's
that old
nasty.
thick ass garlic sauce.
They got raisins in the damn
That cardboard
sauce.
ass box pizza.
No cinnamon in the sauce ass.
That motherfucker's name ain't John. That motherfucker ain't Papa. That nigga ain't Papa.
Papa Smurf.
His name Papa Keith. Man, that motherfucker ain't.
So my line brother said, you know what the real travesty is that Papa John's been passing off cardboard topped with government cheese
Yeah.
for the past 20
What
years.
the fuck?
And I said, I said I disagree because government cheese is better than the shit they
Hey,
use.
listen.
I'm gonna tell you
But I'm
that.
gonna give y'all a shout out though, because you know what the thing is, my first ever job in life was actually at Papa John's though.
All right.
All right, well, that's
So,
nice.
so,
That's
but-
nice.
And so, you know, I worked on the plantation
Yeah, I'm gonna
for a whole 2 years.
So you can tell people you was part of
modern-
slavery.
The modern age. He was a modern age slave.
You little Italian coon.
Wait in the wall.
You was an official house nigga.
Wait in
The
the
pepperoni
wall.
and the sausage.
Paisan.
Paisano.
Next up.
I was trying to show you niggas to freedom.
Okay, next.
On the boot.
'Cause we can't give him that much time. Go ahead.
So, if you guys didn't know, this gets to Somebody called him Toupee Fiasco. I was listening to a podcast and somebody called Trump Toupee Fiasco. And that is the most hilarious shit I've ever heard in my life. Toupee Fiasco. But there have been 12 new indictments handed down of Russian nationals who are operatives or spies or foreign service agents.
Are you surprised?
Not at all.
Right.
Like,
That's his homie.
But
we
here's the
waiting
thing.
on it.
Here's what's killing me. This is what's fucked up. Throughout the indictment, if you read the indictment, which I'm a nerd, so I read the indictments like when stuff like this comes down. I actually went back and read the OJ paperwork, and OJ really shouldn't have got off. But that's
OJ snitched on his fucking self.
But that's neither here nor there. So the thing is,
we're not gonna relive that.
So when you talk about this indictment, though, it consistently mentions a U.S. person who was in contact with a Russian hacker named Guccifer 2.0. And if you don't know who Guccifer is, he's a legend in the hacking world.
And if you from D.C., you know what goosing is. Go ahead. It's a little term. I'm just saying, that's what we saying.
Roger Stone, who, if you're not familiar with political circles, Roger Stone is like he's not the Phil Jackson of politics for the Republicans, but I'd be damned if he ain't one of the architects. He might be the Greg Popovich of the Republicans. Like,
that speak up against
no. If Karl Rove is like the Phil Jackson, I'm talking about success.
Okay, right.
If Karl Rove is the Phil Jackson of Republican success, this guy might be the Popovich, or might be the Steve Kerr.
Yeah,
right. You know what I'm saying? So if you look at this guy, Roger Stone said that he is actually the U.S. person who was mentioned in this latest round of indictments. These 12 folks who are Russian spies who talked about collaborating with the Trump campaign and the Republican Party to sway the elections.
House of Cards.
Now, hold on. Let's take it one step further. And this is where it gets really ugly to me. So the Maryland voter registration system runs on software that is owned by a Russian finance firm.
Bruh.
Think about it. This is Maryland.
Motherfucker losing votes like a nigga lose nude pictures when his old lady go through the phone. Let me get that.
I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about that. I cannot.
I do. I'm gonna put my pain on the podcast. I put my pain out here.
I cannot co-sign that shit you just said. That is not my ministry.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead. The views and
but what I am gonna say.
We shall proceed to the top of the hand.
We need a disclosure here.
That's going to do it for us here at the Kind of Sleepy Podcast. Appreciate y'all listening. Natty done fucked up the church's money.
Get your goddamn hand in.
Natty didn't get his smoke.
Natty,
I get it next week.
Yeah, fuck that smoke.
I'm gonna start the fire.
Boss lady already gonna whoop my ass.
Yeah.
So
you gonna catch a. I'm
gonna catch a smooth eye jammy from Boss lady.
Yeah, 2 slices of Papa
I get a
John's.
little ice pack ready.
A right and a left.
Hey, 2 slices of Papa John's.
So what you doing? What you doing Thursday? Yeah, so Thursday you need to clear your evening schedule so we can go see Boss Lady at Bike Night.
Oh, and
see,
that
Knowledge
spot.
get his ass whooped.
See, what you're not gonna do is I'm gonna get my ass whooped.
I ain't gonna lie, I got your back.
I got a little ice.
Just open the door when I run. Just hold the door open while I run.
Let's just rush her. Let's just jump.
Let's jump. How did I become Craig? How did I become Craig?
I'm gonna just stay in the car.
Yeah, I'm just like
you gonna cry in the car?
No, I'm just stay in the car.
I'm gonna cry in the car. I go from being Craig to Red that quickly.
She gonna stay in the car like my boy on Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay in the car like him. Yeah,
Like,
he gonna cry in the car.
He got out the car. Let me out though.
Let me out though.
Let me out though.
Yeah, I say that to this day. Hey, let me out though.
Let me out though.
Okay.
On that note, man, we appreciate y'all checking us out.
Hey man, look, I'm so glad to be back.
Man, I'm so happy to have you here, man. It's a blessing. I missed this, man.
Hey, man, look, I'm telling you, man, because I don't like.
I know you've been grinding.
I don't like nobody, and this is the only family I got.
You are family, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is the only family I got, man. I called my mama today. She like, nigga, what the fuck you want? I'm like,
don't even worry about it.
Never mind. I'm like, never mind. I just want to see if you want your rent paid. Right. Don't worry about it. Kiki, do you love me?
So before we get out of here, Miss EP, you got anything you want to say to the people?
I do. Go ahead, Miss EP.
Of course, as always, protect your peace. Protect our babies.
Protect our babies.
You know, we have to.
Ooh, that just touched my soul.
It's too many people that feel, aside from your regular entitlement, you can't feel entitled to attack our babies. That can't be okay. So, you know, if there's an issue with me or any other adult, that's fine. But I'm not going to be okay with attacking our babies. Got to protect the babies.
Every woman got to be a mama bear.
Let's go.
Motherfucking ow.
Miss Nessa. Miss Nessa, thank you so much for coming to join us here at Kinda Sleepy. Like, you really have we've had a lot of fun with you. We really appreciate you coming through and showing us some love.
I love this.
And Miss Vanessa's statement.
Wait, he got the quiet storm voice going on.
Don't listen. Plug your ears or something.
I'm trying to tell you.
It's like on Get Out when she tapped the teacup.
Now watch.
Don't listen.
2 hours from now, you
gonna be talking about you want to go get some salmon. Got some salmon at the house.
Be butt naked with honey on your butt cheek.
Hey.
Wait, you like that shit?
Hey, wait a minute.
Talk your shit now.
Drip, drip.
Listen, I need a Taurus constellation tattoo right here.
I understand.
Me and you gonna
He
talk
said
business
he can go
in a
get the
minute.
equipment set up tonight.
Right now.
He said, yeah, I'm going to put that bull on you.
That Brahma. That's that Brahma. That Brahma bull.
Y'all can't act right.
No, listen.
No, go ahead,
We're
Miss
supposed to be
Vanessa.
giving words of encouragement.
We are one people.
Word.
We are one
Word.
people.
And
I
we love you.
love my people. Black, Hispanic, we are one. We come from one origination, one people. And I wish that my people, que habla español,
Say it in Spanish.
That what she
I don't know
said?
Spanish.
podría entender el poder de unificación.
Come back, Natty.
I heard what she said.
You know what I'm saying? It's-
So what does that? So what does that
So
mean?
basically, I
Come and
wish
tell
they could understand the power of unification.
Mm.
You know, on either coast, we're on the East Coast, the Southern East Coast, which is enriched with so much hurt, tradition, and power. I'm from the Northeastern, the New England side of things, which there was, of course, the history of more freedom for our Black brothers and sisters. I'm a woman of color. Even though I'm Colombian and light-skinned, I feel like a woman of color.
You are a woman.
I am a woman of color. So, you know, I get the same discrimination that you guys get.
You like toast. You know what I'm saying? There's a little bit of heat.
But I wish that they would understand on the East Coast and the Midwest that we are one people coming from one place.
Amen.
And that we have one struggle as people of color. As indigenous as we are, we can fight it and we can win. And through unification, through understanding of each other's histories. Again, as we spoke earlier about the colonization from the Portuguese and the English, it's the same thing. We both lived through slavery, although it was just a different dialect and a different language.
And a different dynamic in terms of post-slavery relations.
Right.
Yeah.
But we still live the nigga life. We are all niggas. I hate to say it. It's easy.
I hate that term.
Look,
But you know what?
never
Even though up
ignorant.
north,
Getting
it's
goals
it's a term of endearment. We use it as not as I'm trying to be. You know, you my nigga, you my people.
So before we go there though, let's look at it like this. So
I didn't get to me.
This is what I say. Be like, we live that nigga life. And so the thing
Absolutely.
is, what that means to me is that we've lived a life of being oppressed, not only by the people who
100%.
aren't in our community, but even the people in our community
Yes.
that don't believe we can be
Yes.
anything more than
Yes.
niggas.
Yes, and we
the
are
thing
so
is,
much more
when somebody calls me a nigga, I don't get mad.
at all.
Because I be like, you just haven't evolved. And I'm trying to stop saying the N-word. And I've been doing pretty good.
Right.
I've been doing fairly well at it. And so the thing is, it's not because I think it's inherently evil because of but even though throughout history it's been used to denigrate and degrade our people.
Yes.
At the same time, I believe that I should not call my brother my nigga. I should call my brother my hero,
Okay.
my savior,
And look at
my
nigga.
brother. my doctor, my lawyer, my better. I want to speak life into my brother's life.
100%.
And so when I talk to Natty, I don't call Natty my nigga. I call Natty my brother.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do. But now we might say, you know, nigga here, nigga there. You know, we might do that.
My guy.
But the thing is, this is my brother. And so when I
100%.
refer to my brother, I refer to him as that because to me, a familial title such as brother or sister is way higher than anything I could ever call anybody. And so just because we live that nigga life, whether it be black skin or brown skin, you still my brother. You
Absolutely.
still my sister.
We gonna do some
Absolutely. We have more in common.
Hood rat nigga shit.
Now it's bald head whole shit all 2018.
On each coast. On each coast.
Wait. Can I take like 2 seconds?
Yeah. Take it, baby.
Just to piggyback off of that entire sentiment, right?
Bald head whole shit?
No. Hell no. You know damn well that ain't what I
dead.
Bald head whole shit all summer 18.
The same way we can say, yo, we trying to get away from we trying to get away from my nigga ladies.
Yeah.
I had to call my sister my bitch.
Yeah.
You know, that's so hard.
It's hard
because it's
hard.
empowering. Like to me,
but that's the same. That's the same way that people took the N word. Yo, I'm gonna take something negative, and I'm gonna empower it.
Because that's us.
Because that's what we. That's what we know how to do.
And here's
but
my
I don't
logic.
have to call my sister the B word. I do it all the time.
Colloquially,
I think you called me a bitch a couple times.
Here's the thing. Colloquially, like here's my thing. I like the balance though, because my thing is, if I hear two women talking and one of them be like
you my bitch. Yes, bitch.
Right.
Yes.
Or something like that. I'd be like, okay, I see.
It's a term of endearment.
That's a term of endearment. Or if I be like, if I see Natty, and you know, if we talk on the phone, I'd be like, "What's up, my brother?" or something like that. And I'm like, nigga, what's up?
Right.
You know, I might do that.
Absolutely.
But the thing is, I completely understand it.
If you say, "What's up, my brother?" I'm like,
what?
Nigga, I'm good.
I'm straight.
Natty gonna be like, "Look, I ain't coming to the mosque, my nigga. So you might."
Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat salami.
Okay, so we'll end it on at least. Let's have balance.
I love y'all.
Let's have balance.
I love
Natty. You got your smoke.
I got my motherfucking.
Tell me what's popping.
I got my motherfucking smoke.
What's happening?
Because my thing is this right here. You know, it's easy to hit a person that look like you. It's easy to kick a person that look like you. It's easy to stand in front of a person that you see a reflection of yourself in. It's easy to persecute. It's easy to assault that person. But I want to know, where is all these thug ass, gang banging ass rappers?
Bloods and Crips.
Where are y'all at?
Whoa, easy.
No, all
call them out.
I got nerves.
The Lords.
I said call them all out. If you gonna call out Bloods and Crips, you got to call out Bloods, Crips, GDs, Vice Lords,
Latin Kings.
I thought it was my smoke.
Okay,
MS-13.
let him get his smoke. Okay, go get your
I'm
smoke.
going to let y'all
No,
go ahead, baby. Go ahead.
Y'all blow the tender. Y'all blow the tender. I'm gonna set this motherfucker on fire.
Go ahead.
Here's my thing: if you gonna be a gangster, like Dead Press say, like M1 and Stickman said, be gangster for the right reasons.
100%.
Be gangster for a cause. If you gonna bang for change, don't bang for crazy things.
Not
bang
against our own
for
people.
change. Don't bang against no bullshit.
My thing is this right here, where everybody that claim whatever color, whether you claiming blue, whether you claiming black, whether you claiming red, whether you claiming gray, black and
brown,
yellow,
green,
whatever you claiming, where are you at? When are you standing up for, quote unquote, the people of your color?
Right.
When do we stop saying, okay, look, we're going to stop persecuting ourselves in our own neighborhoods? When we're going to stop fighting each other in our own neighborhoods? When we're going to stop stepping on each other's toes in our own neighborhoods? When you have a bigger machine that is steamrolling our ass. That is steamrolling us. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm on Instagram as Tanaro Reed. TANAROREED.
Say it again, baby.
TANAROREED. For all you gangbangers. For all you thug ass niggas who bang a color besides the one that you wake up with and you wash your motherfucking dirty, dusty ass with.
A day, B.
Every day. I got rounds. Because at the end of the day, it's easy to punch a person in the face that look like you. It's easy to kick a person that look like you. But when you see the oppressor, you get on your knee and you walk around them. So that's where my smoke at. For all you gangbanging thug ass niggas, guess what?
George Zimmerman.
I got, you feel me?
The fact that his bitch ass
is still around.
Come on. Nobody touched him. Nobody touched him.
He should have been. I'm sorry. I don't wish death upon nobody. No.
On an oppressor.
But at the end of the day, he's still out here perpetrating
on an oppressor.
and still out here popping shit.
Yeah. Nigga,
because he's empowered and he's still alive.
Man, you know how much his whole ass sold to painting.
But what these so-called gangsters?
Not to completely backtrack us, but we already know. Honestly, it goes back to men not checking men.
100%.
You know, when it came back in the day,
I'm shooting rounds.
Dudes was out here gang banging and whatnot. It was rules to this shit. These youngsters don't know it, and ain't nobody checking them on it.
Here's the
that's
thing.
Another podcast.
That's a whole nother story. But I'm just saying,
because the young
we gonna make it easy. I'm shooting rounds.
All the OGs got locked. That's
no, not really, not really though, because there's still OGs out here that can check niggas.
Hold on, check this out.
No, seriously.
And I'm not gonna go into too much detail because we got to get out of here. But who taught these new OGs?
Nobody taught them.
Nobody
they weren't
could
taught.
teach these new OGs.
But at the end of the day,
that's like saying who taught Martin Luther King. Number one, it was in him.
It
was in him. It wasn't on him.
Martin Luther King had a father who was a pastor in Atlanta who actually was bigger than him. He was trying to chase his daddy's legacy.
Listen.
So when you say that, you got to give it to the fact that Martin Luther King had a blueprint. These young OGs never had a blueprint because they
once you have knowledge of self.
Hold on. How long has Jeff Fort been locked up?
Who cares?
How long has Hoover been locked up?
Who cares?
I
Those
care.
are not the only people.
Here's my
Those
thing.
are not, look, knowledge. Those
If
are
the
not
chairman,
the only people.
if Chairman Larry Hoover been locked up this long, and GD was one of the biggest gangs out there, this finna go into a whole new podcast.
Listen, we gotta go.
Here. I got an Uncle Leroy. My Uncle Leroy, God bless the dead. He died when I was 18 years old. And he implemented everything that makes your boy Natty right there on that hospital bed in an hour.
But you had that.
It was an hour.
A lot of these young boys don't have that.
It was an hour.
But
a
lot of these young boys don't have that.
And they don't have
so
that.
Guess
but
what? You here? Give him an hour.
I will.
I've
never been opposed to that.
And on that note,
and the kids that I have mentored will tell you that I have done that.
I'm not saying you don't,
but I'm just saying
it's such a lack of respect for the culture.
Shit, I smacks them.
But that's the thing. They don't understand that if it wasn't without the culture, they would not exist. Period.
But here's my thing. We keep going back. We keep going back to. Let's take the past.
Let's take a step back.
Martin Luther King,
and say this. Hold on.
You got Martin Luther King.
Not even that.
Wait. Everybody pause. Pause. Let's do it like this. Okay. This is that we about to get into a whole different podcast.
Beast.
But here's what I'm gonna say. The gangs that we have today were created for a reason.
100%.
If you look at what BLOOD stands for, brotherly love, overcoming oppression and destruction,
and CRIP,
and you community revolution and progress,
include fraternities and sororities.
100%.
You include fraternities and sororities,
okay,
and you see. I'm gonna call everybody out. Yes, I'm a Mason. I've been a Mason. 17 years now. I've been in my fraternity. I'm a life member of fraternity. I've been in my fraternity 13 years now.
Of
Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. I have some affiliations with some street organizations as well.
That's fine.
Which I've had for a while now. And what I will say is that everything that started out one way has not lived up to that expectation this way. Because the thing is, if you look at Crips and Blood specifically, they were called bastards of the party by this documentary, which talked about how they were really created to protect their communities.
Right.
And the Bloods were created in response to the Crips power tripping in L.A. But the thing is, both of them were still created to protect their respective communities.
And they lost sight of it.
Chicago gangs.
Four Corner Hustlers. Boom. Come on, man.
The gangster disciples,
yes.
El Rukins,
yes.
Who used to be the Blackstone Rangers, Vice Lords, all these cats, they were created to build their communities. They weren't created to destroy their communities. What destroyed their communities? It wasn't us that destroyed these communities. It was the government giving us crack. Giving us unfettered access to weapons, unfettered access to drugs, and all this stuff.
So when did we take our power back? We can always
Here's my
say
thing.
we can
So,
always
Natty,
say well
it's always
we can
money.
we can always say, look,
Natty.
somebody brought roaches in my house.
No,
I
it's
get you.
always
I get you,
money,
Natty.
and it's the disrespect of
Here's
money.
my question, Natty.
It's the
But
lack
Natty,
of
here's my
respect
question.
for
Here's my-
money.
Here's my question. And I'm gonna say this. We gotta get out of here. guys. Here's my question, Natty. You know, you say when we gonna take it back, and I'm with you, and I'm gonna ride with you on that till the wheels fall
Well, we're
off.
gonna take it back.
But how much money do we have to get together to
Thank
take
you.
it back? Because
That's
the
it.
thing is,
How much money do we have to get together to
Bobby,
take it back? Mo,
listen
hold
to
on.
That's
Look,
all
I'ma
it's
say this.
about.
hold
Look,
on, Mo. Hold on.
hold on. I'ma say
Hold on,
this
Mo.
right.
Let me say this. It's a lot of money being made at the
100%.
top levels that they not willing to give
Give
up to
up
get our hoods
at
back,
all.
bro.
At all. And until you lose that money, until you lose that element of monetary gain. Monetary gain.
All right, let me run something by you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Now, if
We
any,
got
I mean,
6 minutes.
everybody that's on everybody
Fresh
that's
Sharon.
on everybody that's on this podcast, they know, like, boom, Lancaster, South Carolina. It's a street called Market Street. I mean, boom, it's just one. I mean, it's just one little small street right off the highway. Boom, 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 and where motherfuckers been hustling there for years, getting bread for years.
Right.
You know what I mean? Boom. I hustled there when I was younger. Boom. I had people who hustled there and still hustling there.
Right.
But it's a neighborhood. It's one street. Boom, boom, boom.
I'm gonna tell you now. I'm gonna probably block out the name of that street when we.
It don't matter. They don't know what city it's in.
Okay.
It's a
But
market
you-
street
but you-
everywhere.
But you said it.
That's a market street
You
everywhere.
said the city.
Well, I did.
Yeah, you did.
What was the city I said?
That's okay.
I'm not gonna say it.
Fuck, I
again.
said it again. Lancaster, South Carolina.
God damn it!
Fuck about none of that.
All right, fuck it. I'm not gonna edit nothing then. Let's do
This
it.
podcast.
And my thing is this right here. It was 14 houses. No, my bad. It was 16
We talked
houses.
about this, right?
16 fucking houses on this street. Because it's one street.
right.
They sold 16 houses for $180,000.
Gentrification.
Nah, it wasn't gentrification.
No?
Number one, what it was, nobody who been staying there for years, nobody who been hustling there for years, nobody who even ride down that street bothered to get in on an investment.
And who took advantage of that? Gentrification.
It wasn't gentrification, because if it was gentrification, it would have been a company behind it.
No,
No.
not necessarily.
No.
Not necessarily.
Listen.
No.
It was 3 individuals behind it.
Bobby,
Let me
who
tell-
were they?
Well, shit, goddamn. Shit, this
No,
fucking
say
me.
it. Say it, bro. Say it, bro.
It was one African American, which was my uncle,
Okay.
Okay.
who had been living there for over 40 years on the same street. It was one Indian guy. I
Okay.
mean, he owned a couple stores in Lancaster. It's called It's Fashion. Shout out to Hot Deals.
Hey.
And his brother.
Okay.
Okay.
And they was like, look, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and, you know what I mean, boom. We're gonna go ahead and renovate these houses and then give them back to the community on a low end. It was not like they was trying to move people in, because
Okay.
you can't do it on Market Street.
Okay,
But
okay,
the point is
okay.
this right
That
here.
trap. Where the trap gonna go?
But it's out the way. Move the trap. Get the trap out the way. But you have affordable housing on the street that people have been living on for years.
Listen to what I'm saying.
They
To you. I don't disagree with you, Natty. I feel like if you trapping like that and you making that much money, you should buy
back your hood.
100%.
I agree with you on that.
16 houses?
All I'm saying, Natty, is
16
that
houses.
all I'm saying though, think about it. You said $180,000,
16 houses.
and that's just in Lancaster. Could we do that in Charlotte?
Goddamn
It'll take.
right.
How much money would it take in Charlotte to buy them 18 houses?
Not necessarily. There's
18?
enough buying
Shit,
power.
I bought my little house for $60,000.
Okay, so let's take 4 of your houses. That's still
The motherfuckers
$240K. That's still more than them.
But that's still but look, that's still
But
3
think about it.
bedrooms.
If we gonna buy them houses back
Let's do it.
across the country,
You know how much money come out the black community?
I know
6 billion.
exactly how
6
much.
billion.
I know exactly how much money comes out, Natty.
Let's pull
But
out
can you
resources.
convince people to contribute and pool that money?
I'm not gonna try.
I
to
can't.
Shit.
Exactly.
But the point is,
You
this.
could.
It can
You
happen.
could. You
I'm not gonna
could.
do
I tell you what.
You
So
could.
we got 2 minutes and 30 seconds right
Okay.
now. I'm gonna do something tonight.
Uh,
I'm gonna do it tonight. I'm gonna edit and publish this podcast on Monday. What's today's day?
the 15th.
Today's day is the 15th.
It might be
On
the
Monday, on Monday, July 16th, what I'm going to do is publish this podcast. So if you listen to this for the first time, it is going to be published on Monday, July 16th.
Wow.
What I'm going to do tonight,
I finish
what
my
I'm going
smoke?
to do, hold on. What I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to set up a GoFundMe.
100%.
And it's going to be called Buy Back the Block. And what we're going to do is that we're going
TNB.
and what we're going to do is we're going to set up a council of 5 people. I am not going to be on the council, so the
I don't
money
wanna
will
be on
not
it.
touch me.
Nah, I don't want it.
The money will not touch you.
Neither one of us.
I'm
None of
guap
us
up.
will touch the money. We will choose the council, and we will have oversight of the council for this money. It's going to be called Buy Back the Block, and we are going to buy a block in a city. I know a block right now in Birmingham that we could buy. I know you know a block in Lancaster we could buy. You probably know a block in Columbus we could buy. You probably know a block in Connecticut we could buy. We are going to choose a block, and we're going to find 5 people from that area to buy back the block should we get enough money.
I think there's a young lady doing it in a certain city. I can't remember where.
We ain't worried about her.
No, I'm just saying,
I
like,
get it.
it's
No,
the
it's a
same.
little-
But that's an
though.
example.
Right, yeah.
Right.
That's, it's real. I want to get. I'm
BBTNB.
gonna put it back. I'm gonna start a GoFundMe called Buy Back the Block.
I'll be the first one.
Pushed and sponsored by the KNWLDG podcast. If we can get enough people to get, I want to say, let's say $100,000.
I got the first 1,000.
Say no more. We're gonna do $100,000, and we're gonna run this GoFundMe for a year.
Okay.
And we're gonna try to get $100,000 over the course of a year. And with that $100,000, we're going to buy a block.
In whatever
and from
neighborhood.
and from that block, what we're going to do is we're going to invite companies to build a business there. Small business owners, with the preference going to minority business owners,
100%.
specifically minority owners of color and women of color.
Yes.
That I'm gonna set that up tonight. That's my word.
Okay.
We own
I'm
it.
putting my handshake on
It
it.
starts with us.
We had to start somewhere.
It starts with us.
What did we talk about when I said we are no longer complaining
We're
about
doing.
what?
We changing.
Things we can change.
That's
We're
it.
no
We
longer
changing.
complaining
That's
about
it.
things we can change. If you can
Right.
change it, it doesn't matter how big or small the change is.
It don't matter.
But if you can make a change,
It's a step.
make
Come
a
on.
change,
A
man.
dent in your brand new car don't make it brand new no more.
Hey,
So when we can make a little dent, guess what?
that's it. That's enough.
That's a
With
dent.
that being said, we are officially at 2 hours. I want to thank everybody.
And I'm
for
ready to
coming through.
total this shit. I'm ready to run a
Yo,
tow
this
truck.
has been
over-
amazing.
This
I
is- I've loved the way this
appreciate.
flowed. I
I
want
miss
to
my
thank
family.
everybody for listening to us. Natty, really thank you for coming through.
Man,
I
look,
love you, man.
I miss y'all, man.
love
But like
you
I
too,
say,
man.
man, I've been out here, man. You know, I've been doing, my
Been
tattoo
grinding.
work. Yeah, man. Went out
Miss
to
Nessa.
California, fucked
Miss-
around and got on the.
I
porno
hope
set.
to be invited again. I love this. I love this platform. I love you guys. Like
you too.
you got.
Say the ice cream thing again.
Love you, Miss.
Listen, I love y'all. I love being with my people of color. You are my brothers and my sisters. And if I can translate that to my Hispanic people, to let them know we are one. There's no need for division. We are fighting the same struggle.
Yeah.
Period.
Look.
And so, with that being said, I want to thank you guys for listening. You can check us out on your Apple Podcast app. We're on. What you got to say?
I got
man?
one more shout out.
What's your
for
shout out?
everybody. I mean, look, my son Ramon Reed, he's on Broadway.
Yeah, he's on Broadway.
Right.
On.
And we was able to finagle our way for him to end his contract here in Charlotte.
Okay.
Hey.
So he'll be ending his contract on Broadway from August the 9th to September the 19th.
So you're gonna
Yeah.
take your princess, Miss EP. Your princess is coming here.
And let me say this: no, I don't have any hookup on tickets. Shit, they make me pay too.
So Miss EP, you're gonna
Yeah.
take your princess.
Yes.
I'm gonna bring my princess up. I'm gonna take my princess so she
Yes.
can see it again because she saw it in Birmingham.
Right.
She saw your son do his thing in Birmingham.
Hey.
Yeah, he dope,
And
right?
and you coming?
Listen,
But we
I'm here to support.
Hey,
Yo,
and
but
we get
we don't have to give the disclaimer about not necessarily having to hook up on tickets
because we gonna
no,
pay what we
because
Right.
when you
I'm
really
100%.
support no when you really supporting somebody, whether
need
it's
to
a
pay
small
what they worth.
business or whatever it is, don't look for a hookup. Like
No.
yo, pay
We gonna
them
pay
real
what it's worth.
price
100%.
and support.
And so
Yes.
Natty, we gonna show your son love. Much love to you.
100%.
That's
Your
all
son.
business. I don't get no part of that.
Look,
Either
nephew,
way, but yo,
Yeah, I
we
gotta
gonna go
go.
but
see
yo,
nephew.
you know what? Your nephew is still part of the family.
He's
and
worked hard,
and
I'm
the
sure.
Kind of Sleepy family supports the family.
And it's awesome for him to be able to end his contract
I love it.
with Disney here in Charlotte.
And
You know what I
be
mean?
with pops.
What
Right.
month? Do we
Good
know
pops.
like around the time frame? The month?
August the 9th.
August 19th.
August
9th.
9th, right, okay.
August the 9th to
Sorry.
September the 19th.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna be here for
So
3
I'll
weeks.
be
Give us the details. That's
So
it.
We're gonna shout that out on the page. And
Yeah.
want to thank y'all for listening. Like I said, we're at the Apple Podcast app. We're on Spotify. We're
Yes.
on SoundCloud. We're on YouTube.
We on Pornhub.
Oh, no.
nigga.
The salmon
on
may be on
XNXX.
Why you?
You may be on Pornhub under amateur category. Ain't nobody else here.
Why you bullshitting? I'll post this thing on Pornhub.
Wait a
I
minute.
don't think nobody else on.
Listen, I love this. This is wonderful. I'm all about this.
I haven't checked to see if
Knowledge is sweating on his head.
Right. So with that being said,
He don't
thank
know.
you guys for checking us out, and we'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
Unless I get murdered for being on Pornhub.
We out.
We'll see you later.
Peace.
Get that porn off my computer.